the AFC East.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the New England Patriots versus the Indianapolis Colts.
After 2 straight games on the road, it is back home to the Hoosier Dome for the Indianapolis Colts and a capacity crowd. Better than 60,000 turning out to watch the Colts with a record of 4-3, tied with Miami, 1 game behind first place Buffalo, while New England with a record of 2-5 is off to its worst start in 8 years. Hi everybody, I'm Marv Albert along with Bob Trumpy, and for the Patriots it has certainly been a chaotic season, starting with the onslaught of injuries in that final preseason game against the Green Bay Packers, continuing with the game of musical chairs at quarterback, but it is for sure the 36-year-old Steve Grogan now is the starter at quarterback, and he did provide a lift against the 49ers last week, although in a losing effort.
Marv, I like the comment from his fellow offensive players, and that Grogan makes them feel comfortable out there. Now, I can't tell you that Grogan can do so much, but in their 2 wins, the Patriots have run the ball 48 times versus the Jets, 43 times versus the Houston Oilers. So Grogan can have his effect, but the Patriots do have to run effectively.
Bob, the Colts come off a most impressive victory in Cincinnati over the Bengals last week, led by Eric Dickerson, 152 yards on the ground. But once again, Dickerson with hamstring problems, so it remains to be seen how effective he'll be here today.
This has been going on for 5 weeks. That's Hunter Smith, the trainer, 35 minutes ago, trying to stretch out Eric Dickerson. 2 weeks ago, he had 13 carries for just 35 yards versus Denver, and Indianapolis loses. And last week, he has 31 carries for 152 yards, and Indianapolis wins. He is the guts. He is the heart and soul of the Indianapolis Colts offense.
And there is Ron Meyer. It was 5 years ago this week that Ron Meyer was fired by New England. We asked him if there's still special meaning in facing the Patriots. He said, well, it's ancient history. And Raymond Berry, head coach of the Patriots, a man who has been facing the heat in recent weeks from the Boston area media, Patriot fans, and from owner Victor Kiam. Indianapolis Colts won the toss, and they will receive. Greg Davis kicking off to the combination of Clarence Verdun and James Pruitt. And Verdun, no, check that. It is Andre Rison on the return, and Rodney Rice makes the stop. Make that James Pruitt on the return, and the Indianapolis Colts will have a first down at the 23-yard line, but first a penalty called. Referee is Pat Haggerty, and they are marking it back against the Colts. At the offensive alignment, you saw the offensive lineman Jack Trudeau at quarterback, replacing the injured Chris Chandler, and in passing situations, what the Colts call the rocket, with Verdun and Pruitt coming on from the 12, and Indianapolis Colts off to a shaky start.
A couple of weeks ago, Trudeau in the center, Ray Donaldson, had a lot of problems on the snap. It looks like Ray Donaldson brings that ball up to the side, and Trudeau pulls out a little early, so the combination is another loss. You don't want to start out with negative yardage. They get a decent kickoff return, then a penalty for holding, and then a fumbled snap, and now it's 2nd and 12.
Yes, Trudeau and Donaldson were having their share of problems. They had 4 botched snaps within 2 games, and now Trudeau able to complete. Bill Brooks, lateral, that's legal. So Andre Rison on the lateral picks up the extra yardage.
Perfectly legal. Billy Brooks doesn't even run a pattern, Marv. Basically taking advantage of the defense, but here's the lateral. Hurst doesn't make the tackle, illegal ends up being 71 yards. You see Risen waiting for the blockers. Pat Beach gets a bump on Raymond Claiborne. See, there's no pattern there. He runs straight up between the corner and the safety. Trudeau hits him. They don't practice this, but it works.
So a first down for the Colts at the New England 20-yard line. We are just underway at the Hoosier Dome. That is Albert Bentley in motion. And the Patriots have recovered Vincent Brown, the Undertaker, the second-year man from Mississippi Valley State. On the recovery, the Indianapolis Colts, after going 71 yards on a beautiful play, cough it up.
That's amazing. They have 3 snaps, 2 are fumbled, and the other one goes for 71 yards. That one goes right through Jack Trudeau's hands. Snapped very hard. That ball hits Jack Trudeau right in the face mask. He had no chance whatsoever. Let's see if we can see it again. Now watch this ball. Hits him right in the chest, right through his hands. That's something that you would certainly expect a veteran center and a veteran quarterback not to have the problems with. Ron Meyer talking to Donaldson, also getting together with Jack Trudeau, try to straighten that out.
And New England first down from their 18-yard line as Grogan calls signals. And Grogan going deep. He has Stanley Morgan. Chris Good chasing Morgan.
It's going to be one of those games, Marv.
And that is a 50-yard pass play.
Good pass protection. This is a straight drop back by Steve Grogan. Pumps left, comes back to Morgan. How many times have Steve Grogan and Stanley Morgan hooked up? Perfectly thrown. This is going to be another one of those fast break football games here between these two teams, and they have staged some dandies.
Patriots first down at the Indianapolis 32. Lone D-back is John Stevens. And he picked up a couple. Fred Young, the inside linebacker, making the stop. Stevens, bothered by ankle problems, has not been the same as you look back to a sensational rookie year. Via Farrell, Babb, Fairchild, and Armstrong up front for the Patriots. And in the backfield, usually you'll see Stevens with Perryman and the receivers Morgan, Fryer, and the tight end Dawson. And in passing situations, Cedric Jones and Sammy Martin report in. They call that the jet. It is a second down and about 7. John Stevens also bothered by that hard hit he took from Jeff Fuller last week. And it's dropped by Fryer.
Should have been caught. He's hurt, too. What'd he do?
Jeff Harrod on the hit. Fryer comes up limping.
It looks like his foot jammed right into the turf.
Irving Fryer last week with 5 receptions, over 100 yards. Bouncing back, he's been hit by a number of injuries. He'd been shut out the previous 2 weeks.
Let's see if we can pick out what happens. It looks like 38 Eugene Daniel falls on Fryer's leg, bends it to the right. Don't know the extent of the injury, but he is on the sideline.
And a timeout has been taken. No score with 2 minutes gone by.
Ken Sims carries Irving Fryer to the sideline as if he's just a bag of apples. Now Grogan steps up and watch what happens. Harrod, the linebacker, 54, comes in, and he really anchors the thigh of Fryer, and then Eugene Daniel bends the right leg to the outside. You can see the right leg bending, and it's back to live action.
It's a 3rd and 7 at the Indianapolis 29. The rookie Hartley Dykes replacing Irving Fryer. Grogan intended for Dykes, who should have had it.
Dykes came in late. There's Fryer on the sideline being attended to by the physicians. Hartley Dykes came in late. Talked to Harold Jackson before the game, and I asked him how close is Hartley Dykes to being ready. He says, well, they missed all the training camp, so he's about 4 weeks behind us. Came in horrible shape. And that's a pattern that you hope he can come in, make that reception, but it ends up being a field goal attempt by Greg Davis.
And it will be from 47 yards away. Davis has hit on his last 7 attempts.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And this one is drilled right through. So Davis now 12 for 15 on the season. He has hit 8 in a row. And the Patriots take the early lead. 3-0 edge on the Colts. We'll take a break. Back after these messages. Irving Fryer, who was hurt in that opening series by the Patriots, being checked over on the sideline, does not look good.
No, he appears to be in severe pain. Raymond Berry even over there looking at him too.
And they are now calling it officially a 47-yard field goal by Greg Davis. A couple of weeks ago, hit from 52 against Atlanta. The Patriots with a 3-0 lead. Davis kicking off to the combination of Verdun and Pruitt. And a short kick played by Pruitt once again to the 20, 25, and down he goes at about the 27-yard line. Brought down by the backup safety man, Jim Bowman.
In case you just tuned in, here is the injury to Irving Fryer. All over the middle. He does not catch it, but Harrod 54 anchors the upper part of the leg. Daniel stretches the bottom part, and you can see immediately that Irving Fryer is in severe pain.
And this has been a hard hit Patriot team in terms of injuries. A 5-time Pro Bowl linebacker Andre Tippett out for the season, along with defensive end Aaron Varus and Ronnie Lepet, John Wooten. They have been destroyed by injuries. Art Trudeau on first down has Albert Bentley, and off the spin gets out to the 33, met by the outside linebacker Johnny Rempert. Now the Patriots will go with Sims, Goad, and Williams up front, shuffling in the linebacking core. What with the injury suffered by Tippett, Johnny Rempert now on the left side. Tim Jordan suffering injuries, so Rempert was moved outside to the left, and in the dime, the rookies Coleman and Rice check in. The normal secondary for New England. Hurst with Claiborne, James, and Marion. Second down and 4 from the 33. 3-0 New England. We are early first quarter. Dickerson lighting his way for the first down. Eric Dickerson, who 4 weeks ago against Atlanta strained his right hamstring and was not his usual self as Irving Fryer heads back to the locker room. They will check him over. And then Dickerson did come back strong last week with 152 yards, but on that final touchdown when he ran it in against Cincinnati, again he strained the hamstring, but a different portion of the leg.
Pulled it lower in the hamstring, so he's getting sick and tired of dealing with treatment from the trainer on these hamstring pulls.
First down from the 39. Trudeau with protection, and he's able to complete to Verdun right at the first down marker. Nice catch by Verdun, who was stopped by Claiborne. Check of the scoreboard. Houston in front of Cleveland 7-0. Houston coming off the victory over Pittsburgh last week. Miami 3-0 lead on Buffalo. Tampa Bay jumping in front of Cincinnati. Bengals have lost their last 2 at Riverfront. And a first down at midfield for Indianapolis. 4.5 gone by in this first quarter. Trudeau again on target with Verdun. Another Colts first down inside the 35 as that hookup went for 13.
Now, Marv, the Colts have to feel, and Jack Trudeau certainly will agree, that off of last week's performance by the New England defense against San Francisco, they can throw the ball. Jerry Rice had 6 catches for 112 yards. Tom Rathman had 11 yards. This Patriot defense, the corners play soft, and you'll see a lot of hitches, a lot of stop and goes, a lot of quick outs until they come up a little shorter.
And Jack Trudeau comes off a solid game last week, this time on the ground. Bentley running so well, breaking tackles, and that another problem of New England. last week. Some poor tackling against the 49ers. Reynolds and McGrew finally got the clamps on Bentley.
I think when you face Indianapolis, you always look at Eric Dickerson. This time he looks like he's faking the sweep. They give Bentley the ball on the counter with 75 Hinton in front of him, and he does break tackles. McGrew and Reynolds, 50 and 95, finally get him on the ground, but he picks up 9.
Yes, they say short of the first down, second and less than a yard. And here's Dickerson looking for the opening.
Oh, it does not look good. McGrew there made the tackle, but Dickerson did not look good on that sweep. And I do believe what Ron Meyer, Larry Keenan, the offensive coordinator of Indianapolis, want to do is find out early, is Eric Dickerson healthy or not? Normally he plants that foot, heads right upfield. On that run, he did not look healthy.
Does not look to be his usual gliding self. That's the Dickerson we saw last week against Cincinnati. Did pick up the first down. The ball now to New England. 22, 8:40 to go in this first quarter. Trudeau again with the time going end zone, and it's broken up. Nearly picked off by the 13-year man from the University of Texas, Raymond Claiborne. The pass intended for Albert Bentley.
Trudeau was way late on this. Watch how long he's looking for a receiver. One of the cardinal sins of a quarterback is throwing the ball late down the middle, and he almost allows Raymond Claiborne the interception.
We spent some time with Raymond Claiborne last night, and he told us, well, it hasn't been what he would call one of his vintage years, but he feels he's also had the responsibility of helping out some of the younger members of the secondary.
Yeah, I like what he said too. He said, look, I may be playing well, but we're 2-5, so nobody's playing well.
Second down and 10, and Bentley could not hang on. Neither could Brown. Vincent Brown had a shot off the deflection, and it is an incomplete pass.
That's the same pattern they threw to Billy Brooks on the other side for 71 yards. It is really not a pattern. You see, it's a quick drop by Trudeau, and Bentley goes straight up the field between McGrew 50, Brown 59, and just trying to find the dead spot in the zone, but he can't hang on to the football.
And it's a third down and 10 for the Indianapolis Colts, who have won 4 and lost 3. They've won 4 of their last 5 after opening up at 0-2.
Blitz.
And Trudeau going end zone. Touchdown! The rookie from Michigan State, Andre Rison, with his first touchdown in the NFL.
Eric Coleman was the man in coverage. Great blitz pickup by the Indianapolis Colts offensive line. We got a flag.
Unsportsmanlike conduct demonstration, number 85 and 80 will penalize on the kickoff.
Come on. His first NFL touchdown. This is single coverage. Coleman on the outside with Rison, and Rison gets around him immediately. When you have blitz up front, you're putting those cornerbacks in man-to-man coverage. That's one rookie beating another, and he's penalized for that. I don't like that rule. I don't like that rule one bit.
Well, here is Dean Biasucci. And he gives the Colts a 7-3 lead. Jack Trudeau off to an excellent start, 5 for 7, 126 yards, plus the touchdown flip to Rison. Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome. Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy. And this, the cause of the unsportsmanlike penalty. Andre Rison with the extra celebration with the master of the Verdants, Clarence Verdant, and it cost.
They called the penalty on both of them. But look, his first NFL touchdown, you ought to be allowed all the celebration you want.
Only for a first. Is that it?
Only for the first.
I see.
Then act like you've been there.
All right, Biasucci with the kickoff, kicking away to Sammy Martin, Rodney Rice, and it's Martin among the leaders in kickoff returns in the NFL, and a penalty mark linebacker is down. Good return by Martin across the 35-yard line. Keith Taylor on the tackle. Now to Bob Costas for an update. Let's go to NFL Live.
Holding 94.
All right, Marvin, that Houston-Cleveland matchup in Cleveland. The Oilers on the opening drive keep the ball for 14 plays, almost 9 minutes. This is the last one. Warren Moon 13 yards to Haywood Jeffries to complete the long 68-yard drive. 7-0 Oilers. Marv.
All right, Bob, on the kickoff return, a holding penalty on backup linebacker David Ward, so it moves it back. And the Patriots start out from their 21-yard line. 7-3, the Colts on top. Steve Grogan with the handoff to Robert Perryman. Robert Perryman also bothered by a pulled hamstring during the course of the preseason, also strained his left hamstring last week. A 2-yard advance. It will be a 2nd and 8. Well, as Bob just told you, Houston with that 7-0 lead. Miami maintaining the 3-0 edge. Cincinnati has come back to tie Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh looking to bounce back with a 10-0 lead. 2nd and 8. New England from their 23. Stevens looking to go outside and had nowhere to go. Chip Banks ran him out. Banks, who was shaken up, number 51, Chip Banks, who was inserted into the starting lineup last week after only 3 days of practice. Originally a first-round draft pick of Cleveland in 1982, 3rd selection overall, then on to San Diego in a trade after refusing to report to Buffalo. He was signed after having his share of drug problems. The Indianapolis Colts taking a chance, as they said, a roll of the dice. And he played well. He was in for 49 snaps last week.
Played well. I hope to tell you he played well.
I will take a timeout. Back after this word.
Chip Banks is up and on the sideline, obviously twisted his back. So Quintus McDonald, 96, will take a spot on this snap. The Colts go with their dime defense, so they got extra defensive backs in the ballgame, Mark.
3rd down 8 from the 23-yard line. Colts 7 and the Patriots 3. Grogan with the time and incomplete. Keith Taylor in the coverage. Sammy Martin somewhere in the area as the intended receiver. We've received word on Irving Fryer, who was forced out earlier this first quarter. We're told strained knee ligaments, but we do not know the severity, do not know whether he will or will not return. The crowd reacting to the Colt defensive unit as they depart. They have given up only 4 touchdowns the last 20 quarters, and that dates back to week 2 against the Los Angeles Rams. Jeff Fiegels will punt to the dangerous Clarence Verdun, who leads the NFL, averaging 14 yards per return. And here comes Verdun, and the Patriots played him very well. 49-yard punt and a 6-yard return. And the Colts go back to the offense. 6:47 remaining in this first quarter. In a bizarre scenario earlier this week, Tony Eason, who was on the sidelines, although inactive, was told to take a pay cut or it is bye-bye. Eason told that he must either accept a significant reduction in his $1.1 million salary, which comes to about $70,000 a game, Eric Dickerson, ball carrier, or go on the waiver wire. And it's believed that the Patriots want Eason to take a 50% salary cut. Now, by comparison, Steve Grogan is paid about $575 per year, and the Patriots feel that backups should not be paid more than a starter.
What happened to a signature on the contract? If he wanted to renegotiate it up because they're 5-2 and he's having a great season, what would they tell him to do? You got a contract. This is really,
I agree with you.
This is really low.
Second down and 8 off the play action. Trudeau nearly picked off. Vincent Brown had a shot at it. Well, the Patriots make a deal with Eason, and that is attorney Lee Steinberg, who came to the agreement. You wonder what will contracts mean if every team would decide to pull this off. For example, what if a linebacker is suddenly demoted to second string? Is he threatened with a salary cut or perhaps being waived? Most players will have no leverage. Eason, a unique case because of the large salary, but when management and players negotiate before the season, it is usually done in good faith.
It certainly is one way from management to player. They don't want to pay him any more money because he's having a sensational season.
It is a third down and 8, and Trudeau hit from behind, able to hang on, but then is hauled down for the loss. Gary Jeter and Brent Williams combining, and it is Williams who will get credit for his 6th sack that leads the Patriots.
This one was scheduled to go downtown. He was looking at Clarence for Dan, and Jeter gets the first hand on him, and then Brent Williams finally gets Trudeau to the ground.
So Ron Stark checking in, and he will punt from his 20, averaging 44 yards per punt. That is second in the conference, and he pops it way up there. Good coverage on Sammy Martin. 39-yard punt. And the New England Patriots now return to the offense with 5:22 left in this first quarter. As we check out the scores, that Moon pass to Haywood Jeffries for a 73-yard touchdown. Buffalo now in front of Miami. Larry Kinnebrew on a 1-yard run. Tampa Bay and Cincinnati are tied. Boomer Esiason hitting Rodney Holman on a short touchdown pitch. Phoenix 6-0 over Dallas. Pittsburgh extending to 10-zip. Detroit 7-3, and New Orleans leading Atlanta. First down at the 27 for the Patriots. Play action, and Grogan going sideline, incomplete. Intended for the tight end Lynn Dawson, who was covered by outside linebacker Quintus McDonald. McDonald, the rookie from Penn State, he took over for the injured O'Brien Alston, but then Chip Banks replaced McDonald in the lineup last week.
You can see in the background Tony Eason signaling the plays in. It's Bobby Greer in front and Harold Jackson, Richard Wood in the white shirt. They're trying to hide Eason from Tom Ramsey of the Indianapolis Colts, because when Ramsey was with New England, Ramsey came up with all the hand signals for these plays. So Bobby Greer and Harold Jackson running interference for the signals from Tony Eason to Steve Grogan.
Second down and 10. Grogan on the screen, and he is now 1 for 6. Incomplete his last 5. That was intended for Robert Perryman. Bob, I have to wonder, though, even if the Colts successfully stole the signs of Ramsey is picking them off, that means then they have to relay it to the defense, and that can be too confusing. Sure. Can the defense react? Does it really matter that they're stealing signs?
I don't think it would help Ramsey to tell Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator, with the exception of a special play, such as last week New England scores on the flea flicker. Well, if the flea flicker sign comes in and Ramsey sees it, he can yell to Bill Muir. But you can fool Ramsey very easily by doubling up signals. So it doesn't work, but he's the guy who invented all the signals for New England.
Often also, if you know what's coming, it doesn't matter if it's well executed. Third down and 10, and Grogan again incomplete. So off to the slow start. Daniel on the coverage of the rookie Dykes, and this capacity crowd at the Hoosier Dome reacts once again to the play of the defense.
Grogan now 1 of 7, and this defense is for real. Last week they held a very potent Cincinnati offense at just 95 yards rushing and kept the offense out of the end zone. This is something that I think Steve Grogan is going to face all day, and it brings up the question. If he struggles, do we see Mark Wilson as the quarterback? He's ranked number 2 in the depth chart at quarterback.
All right, Jeff Feagles will punt to Clarence Verdad, who was telling us yesterday at practice that he'll try to make a spin move or take a return, which then sets up the defense for later on. The next time he feels they'll widen out, be able to take advantage. But this time, straight ahead after the short spin, and he is collared. So Verdad has been handled well on the first 2 punts. A 44-yarder for Fumbles and only a 4-yard return. Mosi Tatupu was on the case of number 83, Clarence Verdad.
Steve Grogan was just complaining to the officials. The intended receiver on that play was Hartley Dykes. And you can see Eugene Daniel in coverage. You're allowed that one chuck in the first 5 yards, and that carries on for about 8 or 9. You can understand why Steve Grogan is upset. But Dykes has got to get himself in the game. Look at Tony Eason there is looking at Polaroid pictures of the defense as it's being deployed by Indianapolis, and Grogan is still very, very mad.
And first down at the 34 for the Colts. Dickerson going outside.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, this guy is about 75% and still floats out there like he barely touches the ground, and he's averaging 5 yards per carry on a bad hamstring.
Yes, his 4th carry, 20 yards. Let me ask you this. What happens if Tony Eason does accept the pay cut, which is unlikely? But if he does and becomes the starter again, either by injury or coach's decision, do they give him the money back? I would think that'll be in the contract.
You can ask all kinds of questions. Hey, the New England Patriots are 2-5. Does Victor Gahem reduce the price of the tickets at Foxborough Stadium? Come on.
First down for Andre Rison, running beautifully, breaking tackles and spinning his way inside the 35.
There's been a lot of question marks this week about the Patriots overlooking Andre Rison for Hartley Dykes. Now, Rison has been in throughout most of training camp. Dykes is not. But this kid has outstanding moves. He's very similar to Clarence Verdad in that after he catches it, that's when the excitement begins.
Rison slipped all the way down to the number 22 spot in the draft. He was reluctant to work out, and a lot of teams didn't like his attitude, and so he slipped all the way down.
Well, sometimes attitude is important, but that comes second after performance.
First down play, and Bentley on a sweep. Bentley getting inside the 30. Johnny Rempert caught him from behind. Albert Bentley still bothered by a shoulder injury. A very versatile back, led the AFC with better than 1,500 all-purpose yards 2 years back. Before Dickerson arrived, he was the starting halfback, averaging about 92 yards per game.
He's a great blocker. He runs outstanding patterns, which is a real help for the quarterback because you know where he's going to be, and he is a tough, tough runner.
It is a 2nd and 3 down at the New England 26. Colts 7 and the Patriots 3. Hard driving move by Eric Dickerson. Fred Barry on the free safety on the stop. And let's see where they spot it. Yes, he did pick up the first down.
Patriots now beginning to come with the blitz to try to stop the run. That time they blitzed and Dickerson ran right by him. An excellent call by the Indianapolis Colt offense.
Colts first down at the New England 22-yard line. The Colts with victories over Atlanta, the Jets, Buffalo, and Cincinnati. Beat Buffalo big 37-14. Then lost to the 49ers, the Rams, and the Broncos.
Watch Bentley here. He's in the spot where he runs right straight up the field. Top of the screen, right inside the hash mark.
And Trudeau looking sideline. Andre Rison stopped by the left corner, Maurice Hurst. Rison getting into the game plan last week. 5 catches. His best effort of the year, and he's been a popular target here in the first quarter with 1:49 remaining. Pick up a 5. It'll be a 2nd down and 5. The ball now at the New England.
They had that
17.
They had that twins formation with Brooks and Rison on the same side, and that really creates problems for the Patriot defense.
And now Brooks is split to the right and Rison to the left.
Blitz again.
For Boyer in motion. And Dickerson reaching inside the 15. The inside linebacker, New England's leading tackler, Ed Reynolds, on the stop. Still 7-0 for Houston. Buffalo maintaining a 7-3 lead on Miami. Buffalo's won 5 straight against the Dolphins. Tampa Bay, Cincinnati tied at 7. Phoenix with a 6-0 lead on 0-7 Dallas. Pittsburgh 10-0. Bobby Brister to Lewis Lips, 16-yard touchdown pass following a Gary Anderson field goal.
Now watch Bentley here sitting in the trips formation, far side of the formation.
2nd down and 3. Trudeau took the hit, got it away, and he is out of the end zone. Nice effort by Rison, but he caught it up against the wall.
But I think Jack Trudeau, he got a little, he wanted too much there. He had Bentley open in the flat, and Bentley would have gotten the first down had he thrown it out there. You can see Bentley at the top of the formation. He goes for it all. Gary Jeter, 99, gets his shoulder pad right on Trudeau. Jack would have been smarter, taking that flat reception by Albert Bentley, and the drive would have stayed alive. There's Larry Keenan talking to Jack Trudeau on the sideline.
32-yard field goal attempt for Dean Biasucci last week. Hit from 27. And his only attempt, he's 10 for 13 for the season. The league's most consistent place kicker the last 2 years. And he puts it right through. That's easy pickings for the long yardage specialist, Dean Biasucci. And with 1 minute remaining in this first quarter, the Colts lead the Patriots by the score of 10-3. Well, next Saturday, NBC Sports will present exclusive coverage of the 1989 Breeders' Cup Horse of the Year honors. On the line Sunday, Silence, Easy Goer going head-to-head in the Classic. The $3 million 7th race. That'll be live from Gulfstream Park in Florida. For 7 championship races, $10 million in prize money. It's underway next Saturday, 1:30 Eastern Time here.
I always seem to bet on a horse like that. That's a miniature colt they have here that runs around the field beforehand. I always seem to get that nag.
That colt will not be involved in the Breeders' Cup next week. Well, the Colts burning it up, 195 yards accounted for in this first quarter, 153 in the air.
Last week, New England gave up 500 yards of offense to San Francisco. And that was the thing that really determined the difference in the game. Trudeau, it looks like it's easy pickings for him all day.
Just saw a shot of Don Strunk, new addition to the Indianapolis Colts squad, longtime backup for the Miami Dolphins, best friend and teacher to Dan Marino. Last year with Cleveland, he backed up Bernie Kosar. Rookie quarterback Wayne Johnson was waived. Rodney Rice on the return. It's up to the 25-yard line. Rice, 8th-round draft pick, rookie from Brigham Young, stopped by John Baylor with 51 seconds remaining. In this first quarter, New England will go to work at their 25.
Biasucci tries to get in on the tackle, but one of the problems you have when you're a kicker down there is that sometimes you get decked. That's Mosi Tatupu, number 30, on Dean Biasucci. And I have a feeling the next time they kick it off, Biasucci's going to be hanging back a little bit, you know, be the safety man about 40 yards away from the ball. At least he's got a sense of humor about it, a little smile.
Mosi, that was a grimace, Bob. Mosi getting his licks in. He took a good shot at Verdun on a punt return. First down at the 25-yard line. 83, Jones in motion. And here's Stevens getting to the outside. He broke tackles. First down and some more for John Stevens. Eugene Daniel pushed him out of bounds. A 14-yard run by Stevens.
Last year, of course, 1,168 yards, and you see that neck brace. Last week there was that tragic hit, Stevens on Jeff Fuller. Now Fuller's fine, but Stevens got up hurt too. Jammed his neck a little bit in the side of his head. He just stiff arms Pryor right out of bounds. Picks up enough for the first.
And a nice touch. Stevens sent a telegram to Fuller wishing him a speedy recovery. Fuller hospitalized with 3 compressed vertebrae. First down at the 39-yard line. Again, it is Jones in motion. Stevens running hard and running well out to the 45. Jeff Herrod on the stop.
You know, Darryl Stingley also sent a telegram to Jeff Fuller in San Francisco. Stevens' telegram to Jeff Fuller. The good news is that Fuller does not have a spinal cord injury. It does not appear he'll suffer any lasting paralysis. He's up moving around the hospital in San Francisco. is certainly done for the year, but obviously John Stevens certainly concerned about Jeff Fuller's well-being.
2nd down and 3. Perryman, the ball carrier, and the Patriots running very well on this drive. 1st down picked up by Robert Perryman. Jeff Herrod, inside linebacker, Indianapolis' leading tackler, made the stop. You heard the gun. That's the end of 1 here at the Hoosier Dome. Colts with a 10-3 lead. Well, when Ron Meyer was head coach at New England, one of the moves he made was to start Matt Cavanaugh over Steve Grogan, and Grogan reportedly among those Patriot players who were not fans of Ron Meyer, who you recall was fired, although he had a record of 5-3 in his 3rd year with New England. We asked Steve Grogan about it last night, and his declaration of no comment was in fact a comment that I thought captured his feelings.
Yeah, spoke volumes. He's not having the kind of day I think he wanted to show Ron Meyer. You never forget that guy that cut you.
It is a 1st down for the Patriots at the 46. They have run well, led by the combination of Perryman and Stevens. And here's John Stevens again. Stopped by the left defensive end, Donnell Thompson. Penalty marker has been thrown, and it is against New England.
Holding, number 68, offense.
That is the 25-year veteran Pat Haggerty with the call on the Patriots center Mike Babb.
Harvey Armstrong, the nose tackle of the Indianapolis Colts, is a spinner, as they call in the business. And he plays that nose tackle spot, and after the initial contact, see if he spins here. That's one of his big moves. Watch Steve Grogan. He's telling Sammy Martin, how was dinner last night? How's the family? Let's see if there was a spin move there. Well, you can see Babb take him down with his right arm.
Bob off that last play, the right guard Paul Fairchild limped off. Tom Rader, 2nd-year man from Notre Dame, has come on. 1st down and 20. Perryman in motion. And Grogan goes sideline, gets a completion, but short range for Robert Perryman. Steve Grogan struggling here at the start. The strong safety Michael Ball made the stop. You look at the Patriot roster, and they are short in the running back department. Earlier this week, Reggie Dupart was put on waivers. In fact, the Colts took a look at him during the course of this week. Marvin Allen a scratch because of a leg injury. So we're talking about John Stevens and Robert Perryman, the starters, and Mosi Tatupu as the back off. We asked Raymond Berry about it, although Raymond doesn't give you real strong opinions when you ask questions, but he indicated that Eric Sievers would be available in a blocking situation. He is a tight end, but has lined up on occasion in the backfield. Grogan going deep and incomplete.
They're not going to throw the flag there because Chris Good was looking back at the football. There was contact, but if both people are looking back, they're not going to throw the flag.
Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver.
As long as Good looks back, and the officials will allow coincidental contact.
So Grogan is now 2 for 9, 54 yards. His first pass was completed for 50 yards, and the second completion was that short pop here on the near side to Perryman just a moment ago.
They're not getting much offense, and that has been their problem throughout the first part of this season.
3rd down, 16, just underway in the 2nd quarter. And Grogan again going deep downfield. And Sammy Martin, it is called incomplete. He did not have possession while inbound.
Always reviewable, though. Very difficult for the sideline officials to watch the feet, and was the ball under control. This is always reviewable. John Baylor was the closest man. Now, it's hard to tell from that picture whether or not he had the ball. Watch his left foot. Is it inbounds? Oh, boy, that's close. I don't think there's enough evidence there for instant replay to overturn it.
I thought when the second foot came down, it looked to be on the sideline. The replay official today is Grover Clemmer. And, well, they're going to continue play, so that will hold. Whether it was reviewed or not, we do not know. Verdun lets it fly by, so it will come out to the 20-yard line. 52-yard punt. A minute gone by in the second quarter. Sammy Martin still and thought he had possession. On the punt by Fiegels, a holding penalty was assessed on Keith Taylor of the Colts, 10-yard penalty. So they move it back to the 10-yard line, where Jack Trudeau, who's sporting some impressive numbers, 7 for 11, 155 yards, will start out. Colts 10, Patriots 3. We are early, second quarter. And Trudeau able to complete at the first down marker with Andre Rison, who coughed it up. And let's see if the recovery was inbounds. Yes, it was.
Now that's reviewable too. Fred Marion comes up with it, and he has to be treated as a receiver. Possession of the ball, both feet down, inbounds.
That previous play with Sammy Martin on the reception was reviewed, and it was called inconclusive, so the play did hold up. And let's see what happens here.
That was Don Shinnick almost accosting the official on the sideline, and the play went in his favor to this point.
Fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Now you must treat Fred Marion, 31, as a receiver. The hit comes from the outside. It's Johnny Rembert, and it is a crunch. And now he's got the same rules as a receiver. Whoops. Wait a minute. Run that back slow. Run it. We're going to look at this again. Just like on an interception, just like on a reception, this is a monster hit by Rembert. Rison doesn't even see him. But now watch Marion. Ball bounces to him. The first replay we had looked better. We could see his knees towards the sideline. This is the one that will show it. Gentlemen, when you get to the sideline, slow it down. I think he got it. I think he got it. It's very close, but I think that's a recovery.
The crowd reacting because they are watching the same video up on the scoreboard, and they did not agree with the call on the field, but they are reviewing it. So let's see what the replay booth has to say.
I think he does a great job of keeping his knees inbounds and having control of the football. I think that turnover is going to stand.
Banner recovered it. Fred Marion.
The play stands as ruled. First down.
So the 19-yard reception to Andre Rison, wiped out by the fumble. Patriots on the turnover. Take over at the Indianapolis 32.
Now the noise rule.
And they had problems with the crowd here in preseason. John Stevens is stopped. Stopped for a loss on the play. Jeff Harrod making the initial hit on John Stevens. It will be a second down and 12.
This Indianapolis Colts defense, the front seven, I made this comment last week, but it's worth repeating. I think they're the biggest in the NFL. As a matter of fact, the two smallest players in that defense are the inside backers, Fred Young and Jeff Harrod. The rest of them are huge, with Banks at 6'4", 250, Bickett at 6'5.5", 255, and those defensive front three, monsters.
Grogan able to get it away, and way off the mark, and that will not be an interception. Mike Pryor, the free safety, clearly out of bounds.
This is going to seem like midterm week because we're going to do a lot of reviewing. This one's going to be looked at too. No, that ball bounces.
That's clearly no catch.
Yeah, that ball hits the ground. No interception.
Steve Grogan is now 2 of 11 for 54 yards. So coming off the 15 for 29, 240-yard, 2-touchdown game against the 49ers. He has been struggling against this very tough Indianapolis Colts defensive unit.
I'm very surprised that Grogan is going downfield so much. Seems to me in order to move the stakes, you got to throw at that intermediate range.
Third down, 12, and Grogan able to slip away and then pumps it out to Stevens. Well, he made something out of it, but short on the first down.
They're calling it a sack.
So they'll bring it back. The call that Grogan was in the grasp and under control. Donnell Thompson will get credit for the sack.
Each officiating crew seems to call this different, but Pat Haggerty calls that a sack. So it ends up being a 4th down. It would have been a 4th down anyway. John Stevens did not pick up the needed yardage.
Well, the early criticism against the Patriot game was the fact that with Eason and Flutie, they were not going downfield, were not getting the wideouts involved. Grogan certainly got the wide receivers involved last week, but as you say, he has been looking deep right throughout. And we'll have to wait and see where they spot it. 2.5 minutes gone by. In the second quarter, it goes down as a 34-yard punt. So the Colts return to the offense when we come back. Indianapolis, Marv Albert along with Bob Trumpy. Early second quarter, and the Indianapolis Colts in front of the New England Patriots by the score of 10-3 off that punt by Fiegels. The ball was spotted just inside the 10-yard line. Jack Trudeau calling signals. Eric Dickerson reaching out to the 15-yard line. A look at the 10-minute ticker. Houston on a Tony Zendejas 24-yard field goal extending to 10-0. Buffalo now 14-3 over Miami. Buffalo gunning for a record of 6-2. Thurman Thomas 30-yard touchdown run. Cincinnati leading Tampa Bay, trying to stop that 2-game home losing streak. And Pittsburgh increasing its lead. Detroit over Green Bay, and New Orleans leading Atlanta. I'm told that Dan Marino was sacked for the first time in 19 games. Sacked today by the Bills. Second down and 5 from the 15. Sideline toss intended for Brooks.
Pressure by the Patriots. They came with a blitz there. Trudeau didn't have a chance to really set up to get it out to Billy Brooks. The receiver has to read that blitz. Now watch the pressure coming. You see 95 Reynolds up the middle. It's picked up well by New England. See Vincent Brown 59. But he has to throw it just a little bit early, and Brooks can't get out to get it.
It will be a 3rd and 5.
Hearing that Marino sacked is like seeing Haley's Comet, isn't it? Doesn't happen very often. That one blitz again.
And a foot race, but overthrown by Trudeau, who was trying to hit Verdun, racing with the rookie Eric Coleman. Coleman, a second-round draft pick out of Wyoming.
Well, Marv, I see a lot of desperation on both these teams' part. You know, they don't get it, so they try to go deep. Apparently, neither team really respects the cornerbacks of the other. Now, you can see that Verdun with the contact with Coleman underneath, they're going deep. You would certainly think that if you're going deep early, you're going to look for the intermediate stuff later. I would hope.
And here is Ron Stark.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
As for Sammy Martin. Martin always dangerous.
Uh-oh.
And there goes Martin. Stark is back, and it's Stark on the tackle. However, a penalty marker is down.
That was thrown way late.
Sammy Martin, second-year man out of LSU, second of the NFL in punt returns, right behind the Colts' Clarence Verdun.
We got 2 flags, one back at the line of scrimmage, and then one was thrown way late in the middle of the return.
Having an eligible man downfield on the kicking team. Hold number 27 on the return. We'll kick again. What number?
Actually, my opinion is that always favors the receiving team, because you're making the punting team run 45 or 50 yards down there again and cover.
And so they will punt again. Ron Stark and the punting unit lining it up. Ron Stark is a left-footed punter, and he's a man that Clarence Verdun faces in practice every day, and he was telling us that He feels that he can handle any left-footed punter because of that. He pointed out he thinks that Irving Fryer in particular, who is sidelined by injury now, but he feels that Fryer has problems with left-footed punters and would have problems with a guy like Stark.
Ron Meyer very, very upset at what the call was out there, and the officials are meeting to try to decide maybe who was illegally downfield. Ron Meyer wants to know.
Well, you may have heard someone scream, "What number?" Pat Haggerty listed the penalty. He did not give the number on that particular call. And then out talking it over.
The only guys who are allowed to release are the end guys on the line of scrimmage. Everyone else must wait for that ball to come off the punter's foot. Here's
23 on Indianapolis was incorrectly ruled downfield, so we will enforce the penalty against New England at the spot of the foul.
Wow, that's a most unusual change of a call. Bruce Plummer was the man who was singled out. However, his number was not called on the initial announcement by Haggerty, and the Indianapolis coaching staff was asking who, and apparently they decided that no, it was not a man downfield.
Generally, the officials will not listen to the head coach. They just pretty much go on with their spot of the foul and offsetting penalties, and will kick it again. This time they do listen. Here's Bruce Plummer. He was the man who was mistakenly identified as downfield early. And as I said, the two guys on the end of the line of scrimmage are allowed to leave on the snap. Everyone else must wait for the ball to be punted. Now they're going to replay, I believe, to try to find out where the spot of the foul was, and then they'll enforce the penalty from that spot. It looks like the penalty took place at about the 32-yard line, so it'll go back from there.
And there is the replay booth. Rover Clemmer is the replay man. That was not him.
We'll see the penalty right at the outset here. It comes very early. It's on 88. It's right there. Looks like the penalty takes place at about the 32-yard line. And this is good use of the replay booth. Positioning the ball.
Do you feel, Bob, you're watching a video game or a football game here in the first half?
We have had some reviews, haven't we?
Well, the Patriots are the least penalized team in the NFL. 24 penalties called over 7 games, and they've been hit with 3 today. That's a stat that really has no significance. Patriots least penalized, big deal. They're 2-5. What does that mean?
There's the penalty was called on, I believe, 46. And that's Marv Cook. And it's back to the 25-yard line, 1st and 10.
All right, they did sort it out. And here's Grogan back to throw. Goes short range. And Stevens to the 34-yard line. The inside linebackers, Jeff Herod and Fred Young, combined to make the stop.
One of the few underneath patterns that Grogan has thrown here now. And of course, when those running backs catch the ball 5 or 6 yards deep against this Colt defense, they pay a price. With Bickett, Herod, Fred Young, and Chip Banks, those are 4 heavy hitters in there.
2nd down and 1 for Grogan. And the Patriots, for the 2nd time this season, Patriots shuffling. After the 3rd game, it was Flutie in place of Eason. After the 6th game, Grogan for Flutie. That was last week in San Francisco. Grogan, the starter for the 2nd straight week. Stevens gunning for the 1st down. And the indication is that he did pick it up. Buffalo extending to 21-3 over Miami. Now 14-9, Cincinnati leading Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh with a 13-0 lead. Dallas comes in at 0-7. And Detroit and New Orleans in front. David Douglas now at right guard for Paul Fairchild, who earlier in the game went limping off. Tom Rader came on at first. 1st down at the 36. safety Michael Ball.
Nice tackle, Michael Ball.
Robert Perryman, a strong lead blocker in his third season out of the University of Michigan. He, like Stevens, is playing hurt.
This is a nice job by Ball, though. A lot of guys try to make the sensational tackle out here, but when it's one-on-one, when you start that contact, hang on. Use the sideline. Don't try to get fancy. You hope, if you're the offense, the running back can break that tackle. Good job, Michael Ball.
2nd down and 7 from the 39. Perryman in motion. And Grogan able to complete for the first down. Daniel on the stop of Martin.
Now, see, this is the way their offense functioned last week against San Francisco. They did get the big play to Stanley Morgan, but that was on the flea flicker. Now Grogan's numbers are getting better, and there's Tony Eason signaling in the plays. And so is Doug Flutie to try to fool or trick Tom Ramsey, who is standing almost at the same spot on the near side of the field. See if he can pick up a call or two. They're having fun with it. I don't know if it'll work, but you know, it's something to occupy your mind as you're standing on the bench.
First down at midfield. Colts 10, Patriots 3, 6 minutes in, second quarter. Stevens on a sweep. The tackling by the Colts, led by Fred Young. Mentioned the good play by the strong safety Michael Ball, and this Indianapolis secondary has played well. That was thought to be one of the weak points going in. The nickelback Keith Taylor in particular has come up with a strong second season. Taylor now with 5 interceptions, 2 last week in Cincinnati. He was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
There's Eason on the right making the signals, not to ignore what you're saying here, but I'm watching the pictures, and Ramsey on the near sideline trying to pick something up.
It is a 2nd down and 6. Good piece of running by John Stevens. Fred Young on the stop. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game.
They started the season out with Richard Wood upstairs calling the passes. Bobby Greer on the sideline calling the runs, but obviously when Greer talked to him and Wood didn't, you knew it was a run. So they moved them both down there on the sideline. You can see Ramsey just wandering up and down the side, trying to pick a spot, see if he can see something. Patriots well balanced. 14 passes, 10 runs, but only 3 points.
And the crowd again urging the Colts defensive unit on for this 3rd and 1 for New England. And Perryman has the first down. And Young able to cover up. 7:10 remaining in the first half. Indianapolis Colts with a 10-3 lead on the New England Patriots. Patriots at 2-5 beat the Jets opening day, beat Houston at home 3 weeks ago, but they've lost to Miami, Seattle, Buffalo, Atlanta, and San Francisco.
I frankly admire Tony Eason for knowing the situation that he's in. He's either going to be waived or half his salary is going to be taken away, and he's being a team player. He's signaling in the plays to Steve Grogan.
First down at the 40, and Grogan again completes. Continues to go short range. Perryman on the catch, tackled by Young.
This, to me, is much smarter for Steve Grogan. The long passes down the field are low percentage. Of course, the intermediate routes, very high percentage. You see that neck brace. Steve Grogan had surgery in the offseason on his neck. He comes home, and his dog is wailing in tremendous pain. Steve Grogan has surgery on a pinched nerve in his neck. They find out his dog has the same thing, has the same surgery.
No.
Potsy's fine. And so is Grogan. No neck dollar on Potsy, though.
2nd down and 3 at the 33. And John Stevens is stopped by Jeff Perron. Bob now lowering himself to creating stories.
No. Not creating that at all, but I've heard of sympathy pains, but
Yes.
that carries it a little too far.
Well, some have said that over time, a dog and Patriots owner will look the same, but I don't know, suffering the same injuries.
Compare scars. Use the same doctor. I hope not.
It is a 3rd down and 1. Steve Grogan says he's like Freddy Krueger from The Nightmare on Elm Street. He keeps coming back, and he is back at 36 years of age in his 15th season. Look out. Penalty markers down.
You certainly suspect that's on the defense. Looked like John Hand jumped offside. That's encroachment when you make contact.
Encroachment, number 78, defense.
And John Hand at 6'7", 280. You can definitely tell when he encroaches. Yes, sir. That is encroachment.
Nice call, Bob. 10th play of the drive coming up. They started on their own 25. 5 minutes to go in this first half. And Indianapolis with a 10-3 lead on New England.
Well, this offense now for the Patriots looks a lot better. Going with the intermediate stuff. And that'll set up the deep patterns to Cedric Jones' far side. Stanley Morgan near side.
And the lone deep back is Robert Perryman. Grogan had the time, and Jones, the intended receiver.
Oh, that one he should have had. Not the receiver, Grogan. Great pattern run by Cedric Jones. That's a double zone. You have corners up, safeties out. Watch what he does. Goes inside the first guy. Now he's got to get out to the corner to beat the safety out there. He's wide open. Grogan just slightly overthrows him. Oh, missed opportunity. Watch Grogan's reaction. That's on me. That's on me. Doggone it, that's on me.
Steve Grogan, a quarterback who goes for the big plays. He will gamble, but usually moves the club. Likes to go downfield, perhaps too much downfield at the start of the game, and he has lightened up and is showing some signs of success. Now back to the ground, and a good hole for Perryman. Stopped by Harrod. Jeff Harrod's name being called throughout this first half. Bickett also in on the tackle.
11-play drive for this offense by New England. They've done a good job of changing things up. They have not allowed the Indianapolis Colts to really single in on anything that the Patriots are doing. This is nice, but now this is a big 3rd down conversion.
3rd down and 5. This drive has gone 7 minutes. The New England Patriots holding on to the football for 7 minutes.
Now the Colts come with their nickel package. They've got 2, 4, 6 DBs and 1 linebacker in there.
The swing, and it was thrown off the mark. Intended for John Stevens.
Dwayne Bickett was right in his face. Right in Grogan's face. Well called blitz by Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator. There's Bickett suffering from it. Now watch, you'll see him. They run a little stunt. He comes untouched. Can't quite get there, but does disrupt the timing of the play.
Bickett had a strong game last week against the Bengals in Cincinnati. So Grogan to the sideline. The field goal unit is in for this 4th down and 5. Earlier, Greg Davis hit from 47 yards away. He's hit his last 8. This a 38-yard attempt. The holder is Mark Wilson. No good. So with 3:37 remaining in the first half, the score remains Indianapolis by 7. On his right shoe, Stanley Morgan with the number 67, House. And that is in memory of the late Steve Moore. Many of the Patriots will fly to Memphis following today's game for the funeral of their former teammate, Steve Moore.
Don Blackman, the linebacker coach, has a black armband. Steve Moore, one of the most well-liked New England Patriots ever. They're changing the practice schedule to go to the funeral. A bunch of them are going down to Memphis.
Good running by Eric Dickerson. Moore was murdered outside a Memphis convenience store this past Wednesday night. He played 5 seasons for the Patriots, one of New England's top offensive linemen during its Super Bowl year of '85. Weight problems and Injuries forced his early retirement. He was only 29. His last starting assignment was here in Indianapolis back in the '87 season. Moore in a tragic situation, murdered the other night in Memphis after shopping at a convenience store. Dickerson again stopped by Rembert and Brown.
This team, this New England Patriot team, has gone through some tough times this year. With all the injuries, I mean, there are a lot of distractions in a football season, and this team has had a ton. As a matter of fact, last night we talked to Raymond. I said, Raymond, how's this season gone for you? He says, great. And then I got done, and you said, how's this season gone for you? And he said, awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure him out. Second down and 2. And Dickerson able to pick up the first down, but a penalty marker is thrown. If I were casting the movie, I think Jimmy Stewart in one of his drier roles would play Raymond Berry.
Very good.
And
very
perhaps
good.
Irwin Corey would be a candidate. Somewhere there would be a fine mix.
Raymond seems to handle all of this stuff, though.
Holding 81 offense.
That'll be on Pat Beach. You know, interesting to note about Raymond Berry, you can say a lot of things, but the New England Patriots, since Raymond Berry took over, are 29-10 versus the AFC East. So you can accuse Raymond of being distant, out of touch, non-communicative with the press and the media, but his teams win. They've struggled this year, but he gets it done.
And there's a 2nd and 10 from the 31 as we come up on the 2-minute mark in this first half. Trudeau again getting the time, threw a bullet deflected, intended for Bill Brooks, and Roland James, the strong safety, got a piece of it. So it will be a 3rd and 10 at the 31.
Can't get greedy here now. Don't want a turnover here if you're Indianapolis.
We'll be right back. Quick check around the scoreboard. Houston in front 10-0. They have reached halftime. Rams in Chicago in a 3-3 tie. Bears have lost 3 in a row. Rams have dropped their last 2. Frank Reich has thrown another touchdown, combining with the rookie Don Beebe, 63-yarder. Reich with 6 touchdown passes in 3 games. Tampa Bay now in front of Cincinnati. Bengals have lost their last 2 at home. Pittsburgh 16-0 over Kansas City. Here in Indianapolis, 2 minutes to go. In the first half, Trudeau going sideline intended for Dickerson. Covered by Roland James. So, with a minute and 54 remaining now in this first half, the punting unit comes on. Detroit and Green Bay now tied at 10, and New Orleans in front of Atlanta. Rookie quarterback Rodney Peete threw a touchdown pass for Detroit, going against his father Willie, who is an assistant coach with Green Bay. Bob and OJ scores and highlights on NFL Live at halftime, including a feature on Joe Walton titled "Joe Must Go," which has been a chant with the Jets having all kinds of difficulties. Once again, Sammy Martin on the return and gets to the 35 with the flag thrown. 39-yard punt and a 5-yard return by Martin. So both clubs have done a nice job on the 2 dangerous punt returners, Clarence Verdun and Sammy Martin.
Here we go again. Illegal man downfield on the Indianapolis Colts. Last time this happened, Ron Meyer lobbied and it was overturned.
Man downfield on the kicking team will re-kick.
I'm wondering if they're going to request a number.
Hey, it worked last time. Ask this time. Now see, what the Colts are doing is when they're lining up, they have 2 guys on the wing, and you have a guy in the line of scrimmage who is you have a guy in the line of scrimmage who is at the end of the line. You also have a guy who is set back about 2 or 3 yards. Looks like the lobbying is not going to work this time.
So they'll punt again. Is back at his 11. And there is Sammy Martin.
Well, you got to think New England would go after this. Try to block it.
Well, 10 men on the line.
Not much of an effort to block it. Oh, that's a beauty.
Excellent kick by Stark. Martin had a backpedal, played it well, and is well covered. And Ron Stark receiving the congratulations for a 52-yard punt. Harad and Ball able to get to Martin, and the Patriots start out from their 19.
The alignment of the punt team, and you can see the guy sitting right behind the guy on the line of scrimmage, but there wasn't much rush by New England, and with this 52-yard punt and very little return, maybe they should have. Again, Michael Ball right there for containment, and Sammy Martin is put on the ground. That's a nice big help for your defense with 1:32 to go in the first half.
To the left, Cedric Jones in the slot. Grogan, though, looks right and goes short range as the tight end Eric Sievers out of the 30 for a first down. John Baylor, backup corner, on the stop. Patriots trying to go to the hurry up with 1:15.
Well, you know, the injury to Irving Fryer really hurts this offense.
Now Grogan off the pump, completes once again and has another first down. Again, it's Sievers, one-time San Diego Charger, one-time LA Ram, spent 7.5 years with San Diego. Plummer on the tackle. Now timeout has been taken. And the clock stopped with 1:01 remaining in the half.
As you see, if Irving Fryer was healthy and he injured his knee early in the game, he's taken Sievers' spot there. There's a lot more foot speed in Irving Fryer than you have in Eric Sievers.
Grogan is now 8 for 19, 107 yards. After the slow start, he has come on, taming his game down. He was looking to go downfield and was not succeeding.
You know, it's interesting. I asked Steve last night, how much audibleizing did you do last week against San Francisco? And he said, none. And I said, well, do you have a sophisticated audible system? He said, no, we do not. Which surprises me, because there is so much situation substitution on defense nowadays that you need the ability as an offense to get out of something bad into something good.
We also asked Steve Grogan his greatest concern or fear in returning last week against 49ers. He said the speed of the game, but he was pleasantly surprised that he was able to handle it. Inside handoff for Stevens, and it gets Zippo.
You see a lot of teams do that. The play is a good idea because they've got 7 defensive backs in the ballgame and just 4 defensive linemen, but there was enough movement in the defensive linemen to stop the trap.
Loss of a yard. Patriots right to it. And Grogan going downfield, and it's intercepted. Mike Pryor with his first interception of the season. The pass intended for Cedric Jones. So Mike Pryor, not big, not particularly fast, but has excellent instincts, and a guy who makes the big play, usually around the ball.
That time the Colts have a man coverage underneath. You see the man-to-man coverage there. Chris Goods, 37 on Jones, and there's the zone on top. That's called two-man. They set 2 guys way back. They're the zone, the center fielders, and then there's man-to-man coverage underneath. Played well by the Colts and gets the wanted result, the turnover.
Indianapolis first down at its 34. As you can see, 33 seconds remaining in the first half. Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson coming up. All the scores and highlights at halftime on NFL Live. Good hole for Dickerson. And the crowd reacting. Timeout has been taken. Crowd wanted to see Trudeau put it up in these final seconds. We'll be back in a moment. Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy back at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Capacity crowd better than 60,000 on hand. 28 seconds to go first half. Colts 10, Patriots 3, and Indianapolis with a 2nd and 4 at the 40. And Trudeau unleashing for Rison. And a chase with Eric Coleman.
Never could have been caught because the ball was thrown out of bounds.
Jack Trudeau got off well in the first quarter, but here in the second, only 1 for 6, 20 yards. However, New England has had possession for a good portion of this quarter. They had that one drive where they held the ball for over 7 minutes.
They got no points out of it, though, so the Indianapolis Colts got lucky there. offense sits on the sideline for 7 minutes, come out, and the score remains the same.
That drive concluding with Greg Davis not able to hit from 37 yards away. 3rd down and 4. 21 seconds left in the half. And Trudeau with a bullet. And the catch made. Rison able to hold on, and a timeout taken with 14 seconds left. Andre Rison, although he did fumble one up in this first half, has been outstanding.
Well, if you remember that fumble, it's understandable. He got absolutely hammered by Johnny Remberts.
And we'll take another break. Back after these messages. After a brief message.
Very brief, yes. Rison so far, 5 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. And the celebration penalty following that is first NFL touchdown. With the strength of Dean Biasucci's leg, if they can get 10 yards on this reception, he's got a chance to give him 3 more points in his first half.
A couple of weeks ago, hit from 55 yards away, the longest this season in the NFL, and Trudeau looks it over. And Trudeau, with the intended pass for Rison, who felt he was hit late.
I don't believe that ball was catchable. Trudeau threw that way over his head. They can run it one more time. Again, 10 yards, and I think they can put Biasucci on the field. Now, this is overthrown. And you can see McGrew is all over the face mask of Jack Trudeau, which in a lot of instances will be a penalty. You're not to go to the quarterback's head. Watch how high this is thrown over Rison's head. I don't think that ball is catchable, even if he jumps like jumping Johnny Green.
Jumping Johnny Green. Well, dating himself. We're going back 60s now. Here's Trudeau, and he is stopped by Gary Jeter's 2nd sack of the day for the Patriots, and for Jeter, his 3rd of the season.
That was a rather kindly sack, wasn't it?
Yes.
Once he got the grip on him, he didn't throw him down.
Make that 4 on the season for Jeter, as time has run out. So that is the end of the half.
Live halftime activities will continue after these messages from your local station.
Welcome those of you who've watched Indianapolis take a 10-3 halftime lead against the Patriots. Bob Costas along with O.J. Simpson. Andre Rison with a big first half, not only with the touchdown, but a couple of other receptions that worked for big yardage.
Yes, he's had 5 receptions. He scored his first NFL touchdown for over 100 yards, but I'm a little surprised that New England's been able to be this competitive against what I thought were one of the better teams in football, in the Colts. They're a very physical football team. Of course, Dickerson is injured. He still has 55 yards in the first half. Normally, his yards will come in big bulk in the second half, and if he has his typical second half, I think the Colts should win this football game. But you got to give New England credit. Without Ronnie Lepitt, Andre Tippett, Veras, these key defensive players, they're still playing very competitive football.
Is that true of most great backs? A disproportionate amount of yardage in the second half?
In most cases. Normally you learn what the defense is doing, and a lot of times you're setting up cornerbacks, linebackers with the way you run the ball in the first half. You set them up to juke them or something in the second half, but most great backs will get the majority of their yards. I would say 3/4 of their yards in the second half of a football game.
Big game in the AFC Central, head-to-head, the Oilers and the Browns. They go to the 3rd quarter in Cleveland, both teams 4-3. Houston leads 10-0. A look at some of the highlights. The Cape Crusader and his chief antagonist, the Joker, in attendance. Perhaps the tickets left by Jerry Glanville. Glanville smiling after this one. They capped the game's opening drive, going 68 yards in 14 plays with a 13-yard touchdown pass from Warren Moon to Haywood Jeffries. Later, they got a Tony Zendejas field goal to lead 10-0. Kozar continues to have trouble. Steve Brown interception, one of 2 pickoffs by the Oilers secondary against Kozar and the Browns in the first half. Now they're early in the 3rd. Bud Carson's Browns trailing Glanville's Oilers 10-0. The Rams and the Bears at Soldier Field, LA 5-2. The struggling Bears at 4-3 all of a sudden. The game tied at 3 apiece. Mike Tomczak just 4 for 16 in the first half for the Bears, yanked by Mike Ditka, replaced now by Jim Harbaugh. Buffalo looking to solidify its hold on first place in the AFC East. They're 5-2, hosting the 4 4-3 Dolphins and leading 21-3 early in the third quarter. Frank Reich has a 63-yard touchdown pass to Don Beebe, and Thurman Thomas is already over 100 yards rushing. He has 109 already, including the second quarter TD, and it is a magnificent play. He cuts to the right, then back against the grain from the right sideline toward the middle. 30 yards later, he's in the end zone, and Buffalo apparently is cruising, leading the Dolphins 21-3. They've also sacked Dan Marino today, and why is that significant? As Jeff Wright pulls him down, well, it's the first time it's happened in 19 games. The last time it happened, the Colts did it. Dwayne Bickett did the honors on September 25th of '88 at the Hoosier Dome. Speaking of the Colts and the Hoosier Dome, in the game you're watching at that very location, Indianapolis at 4-3, leading the 2-5 Patriots 10-3. Eric Dickerson 10 carries for 55 yards in the first half. Cincinnati got a Boomer Esiason touchdown pass of 9 yards to Eddie Brown in the waning seconds of the first half, and they lead over Tampa Bay 21-16 at Riverfront, trying to avert their third consecutive home field defeat. You recall last year on the way to the Super Bowl, the Bengals were not beaten at all in their home ballpark. Phoenix playing at Dallas. This would appear to be one of the Cowboys' better chances to win a game this year, and they're close. Roger Ruzek hit a 37-yard field goal to make it 6-3 before they went to the locker rooms. Al Del Greco has a pair of three-pointers for Phoenix. Cards lead 6-3 at the half. Pittsburgh is in front of Kansas City 16-3. Bubby Brister back. He started at quarterback for the Steelers. Hit Lewis Lips for a 16-yard touchdown. The lone score for Kansas City, Nick Lowry with a 50-yard field goal just before halftime. It's the 18th field goal of 50 yards or better for Lowry's career. That's an NFL record. His predecessor as the Chiefs kicker, Jan Stenerud, had done it 17 times to hold the previous mark. Detroit and Green Bay, they're into the third quarter now at County Stadium in Milwaukee. This one even up at 10, and the big story, Barry Sanders, the rookie running back, had 130 yards for the Lions in the first half alone. New Orleans at the Superdome. Intermission over. They've just begun play in the third quarter, and the Saints looking for their third victory in a row after a rocky start, leading over the Atlanta Falcons 10-0 in the third quarter. When we come back, the troubled times of Joe Walton and the New York Jets. They're just 1-6, and prospects don't look any brighter as San Francisco plays at the Meadowlands later today. Gail Gardner has the story after these messages from your local station.
We're back at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy. The Colts at halftime leading the Patriots by the score of 10-3. New England, a club hard hit by injury right throughout the season, suffering another one in the first quarter.
Irving Pryor on the reception here. He gets his leg locked, the upper leg locked by Jeff Herrod, 54. And then Eugene Daniel bends the right leg to the outside. The initial diagnosis is a strained ligament in his knee. We've not seen him since that injury.
And the one touchdown in this first half, Jack Trudeau, who got off on fire, able to combine with the rookie Andre Rison, who's had himself a terrific first half.
This is man-to-man coverage. Rison with foot speed beats Coleman 22. Ball put in perfectly by Jack Trudeau. And his first NFL touchdown. He's got the spike down, but this celebration cost the Colts 15 yards, and they lead 10-3 at the end of the first half.
And going into today, there was much concern on the part of the Colts regarding that strained hamstring injury suffered once again last week by Eric Dickerson, but he has run pretty well. Nothing sensational in the first half, but what, 55 yards on 10 carries for Dickerson.
But when his hamstring is not healthy, Marvin, and to remind the viewers once again, this is a new hamstring pull he got last week. He's not the threat. He doesn't have the acceleration when the hamstring is not well. And Dickerson is one of those guys who will not take himself out of the lineup. On Wednesday, as late as Wednesday, he was saying, I don't feel too good. I don't think I'm going to play. Thursday, he ran a little bit. Friday, he ran a little bit more. And then Ron Meyer says, how about it? And he's in the lineup. He just does not want to take a day off. Told me 2 days ago at their practice facility, if I could take 2 weeks off, I could get well. But I can't bring myself to get out of the lineup.
Also of note, in the first half, the Patriots had possession for over 7 minutes, not able to cash in a missed field goal by Davis. And in all, the Patriots 148 yards, but the Colts 251. That's a big number.
Yeah, that's bad news for New England, because last week, in giving up almost 500 yards to San Francisco, the same trend has established itself. That the Colts are finding open receivers, and Dickerson with those 10 carries for 55 yards, averaging 5.5 yards per rush. They need more defense than what they're getting.
And this is Dean Biasucci in his 5th year out of Western Carolina, kicking off to the combination of Sammy Martin and Rodney Rice. Rice on the return. to the 20-yard line, falling short off that good spin tackle by Charles Washington, a 7th-round draft pick, number 46, a rookie from Cameron that is located in Lawton, Oklahoma. Charles Washington all over fellow rookie Rodney Rice.
Now the Patriots got to feel good because they had a 13-play, 7-minute drive to end the second quarter. They did not get any points, but they were at least able to establish some bread and butter plays. Nice little mix of Perriman, Stevens, and also throwing the ball underneath. So Grogan has got something to go on. His numbers improved dramatically in that second quarter long drive.
Steve Grogan, 8 for 20, 107 yards, intercepted once in the first half, starting out at his 19-yard line. And Perriman reaching to the 24, advance of 5. Donnell Thompson on the stop. In the first half, John Stevens, who's playing hurt off that jarring hit he took from Jeff Fuller last week, and also still bothered by an injured left ankle, going for 33 yards on 10 carries. Obviously not the same John Stevens we saw a year ago.
His ankle has bothered him, cost him some conditioning, and of course with the different quarterbacks they have in there, each quarterback has different priorities.
2nd down and 5. Stevens, and he picks up the first down. Nice run by Stevens, tripped up by Jeff Harrah.
Stevens, by the way, playing in front of his hero, and that's Eric Dickerson. He has a long list of great runs by Eric Dickerson, and also of Herschel Walker. Studies them, watches them very, very closely. Would like to have people refer to him in the same breath that they do Herschel Walker and Eric Dickerson. The difference, he doesn't have the foot speed that those do. He certainly has the power.
And a first down for the Patriots. Dropped by Perriman. Appeared to be an easy catch. Perriman upset with himself.
Actually, we got Sean Farrell down on the ground. Not another offensive line injury.
Earlier, Paul Fairchild hobbled off and was replaced first by Tom Rader and then David Douglas. Sean Farrell, man who's had 5 knee surgeries in his 8th year out of Penn State, being checked over.
He is the left guard. I think you can pick him up right here. Let's see if we can see what happens to Sean Farrell. I can't tell if he hurt his knee or if he has a cramp of some sort. But Harvey Armstrong is the guy. Oh, he does kind of bend outside his left leg. You see, anytime an athlete gets the weight outside that joint, that is when you have injury.
All right, as they continue to look over Sean Farrell, we will take a break. Back in a moment. Well, Sean Farrell went down just a moment ago, and Tom Rader has come on, so a revamped offensive line for the Patriots via Rader, Babb, Douglas, and Armstrong. Earlier, Fairchild was injured. It's a 2nd and 10 from the 30. We're just underway, 3rd quarter, and down goes Grogan.
They replace offensive linemen. Colts come with a blitz. There's Fred Young. He was one of the guys in there. 2nd sack of the day on Steve Grogan. They had everybody coming there. Watch Fred Young, 56. He waits till the guard declares. It's Harvey Armstrong that makes the contact. Fred Young cleans up, but Harvey Armstrong, the nose tackle, makes the initial contact. So now it's 3rd and a fortnight.
Yes, 3rd and to be precise, 19. Fred Young, acquired from Seattle last year for a couple of #1 picks. A 4-time Pro Bowl player while with Seattle.
All as a special teams player, though, for Seattle.
3rd and 19. And it's broken up, and a penalty marker is down. Dykes had it jarred out of his hand.
You know, we've got a great comparison here. We got a flag. It's going to come back, or they'll just take the incompletion. Illegal procedure.
Ball start, number 73, offense.
That's Danny Villa. But Andre Rison is having a career day. He has over 100 yards receiving on 5 catches. Hartley Dykes, with Irving Fryer out, has a great opportunity to show himself here. He's got nothing or nothing. That leaves nothing.
You Good, Bob. Earlier in the season, New England quarterbacks had very little faith in Hartley Dykes, who some said was short-arming the ball, some said could not hold on to the ball in traffic. That all remains to be seen. His NFL career is only 8 games old. It's a third down and 24 back at the 16. Grogan in trouble again. This time, Donnell Thompson with the sack, but a flag thrown. If it holds, it would be the second sack of the day and number 5 on the season for Thompson.
Holding defense.
Holding defense. Whoa. Let's see if we can pick it out. 37 is Good. It looks like he's got a real hand on the receiver out there. That's Cedric Jones. And there's where the flag is thrown. So that's an automatic first down for New England. Costly penalty by Chris Good. Because without that penalty, they got him third and, I don't know, 26, 27, something like that.
Indianapolis hit for the 7th time. Would have been fourth and about 30 plus.
Well, that really let New England off the hook. Indianapolis doesn't want to keep giving life to New England, but they got big play players and Stanley Morgan and those people.
Stevens tried to stiff arm his way, stopped out of the 22 by Donnell Thompson. Thompson has been solid, hasn't missed a game due to injury the last 3 years. That is a rarity for a defensive lineman. Came on last year, had a strong season, and has played well this year.
This is a very strong defensive front with Donnell Thompson and Harvey Armstrong and John Hand. For their size, they have great mobility, but it is very difficult to move those guys out. And of course, you put Chip Banks next to Donnell Thompson, and all of a sudden that's a side you don't want to run to. So you go to the other side, and it's John Hand and Dwayne Bickett.
And they're backed up by Ezra Johnson, who has 7.5 sacks, among the leaders in the NFL.
Oh, he's open.
Sideline pitch. Eric Sievers with his 3rd catch of the day as he broke a tackle. The tight end Eric Sievers going downfield and finally stopped by the strong safety Michael Ball. Sievers on a 46-yard hookup.
He's come into this ball game with 16 catches, and I believe has 3 today. Not a receiver you really think you have to cover if you're Indianapolis here, but very poor tackling, extremely poor tackling by Mike Pryor. And Sievers picks up another 15 yards. Big play, New England. There's good pass protection here, and it looks like Grogan is locked on to Sievers. He does get to see the reception.
Patriots first down at the Colt 31. Second back, Perryman, who was led by Tatupu. Stopped by John Hand. And Sean Farrell, we see, has checked back in, so apparently he's all right. Farrell at the left guard. David Douglas remaining on the right side for the injured Paul Fairchild. Second down and 8 on a 2-yard pickup by Perryman. The ball at the Indianapolis 29. 10-3. The Colts lead the Patriots. Grogan looking, and it is deflected to an interception. Mike Pryor able to come up with it. That's his 2nd intercept of the day.
The ball was intended for Mosi Tatupu, not really known as a receiver by the New England Patriots. He and Lynn Dawson run a little crossing pattern right here by the umpire number 50. There's Dawson 87. There's Tatupu. Ball thrown poorly by Steve Grogan. Behind him, and Pryor does a great job of playing center field and coming up with the interception.
Well, the Indianapolis Colts, on the 2nd interception of the day by Mike Pryor, take over at their 15-yard line. And Dickerson On the slant, goes for short yardage. The inside linebacker and Reynolds making the stop. Well, last week the Colt defensive unit did it against the Bengals, finishing strong with the 5 sacks. Today the 3 sacks.
And last week, of course, they had 152 yards rushing from Eric Dickerson, which was a big key in the game.
Look at Steve Grogan last week. 12 of his completions out of his 15 going to wideouts. Today, out of his 9 completed passes, only 2 to wide receivers. Ankle tackle made to stop Dickerson.
See, again, Marv, didn't mean to interrupt, but you can tell that Eric Dickerson is nowhere close to being healthy. Tim Goad makes the tackle, the nose tackle, and Dickerson just doesn't seem to be able to accelerate off that leg. You'd like to be able to give, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you'd like to be able to give the ball to Eric Dickerson now in this last quarter and a half about 12 or 15 times if he's healthy, but you can't because he's not.
If that is the case, we will see more of Albert Bentley. 3rd down and 9 from the 16. Trudeau got the time and overthrows Rison. And here's it from the crowd. Claiborne in the coverage of Andre Rison.
Now that was tough coverage to throw into. The Patriots use a 4-man front, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs, and there was double coverage on Rison.
Ron Stark and punt formation. He is back at his 1-yard line, and Sammy Martin is downfield. 4th punt of the day for Stark. Martin comes up on this one, bouncing at midfield, and it took a good hop for the Patriots. So Stark with a rare poor punt, only 31 yards. Back in a moment.
Eric Dickerson on the sideline. You see that right hamstring taped heavily. He just went to the phone and called one of the coaches upstairs. And I don't know, he may have told him that I can't go anymore.
Meanwhile, the Patriots back to the offense. Stevens on the completion. Stopped by Harrod. Picked up 9 on the play. Eric Dickerson bothered again by the hamstring pull. Had one real good run in the first half. Dickerson style run, not long range, but as you saw a moment ago, 56 yards, 12 carries, but not his usual gliding self.
Yeah, he's talking to Leon Burtnett, the running back coach here in the booth right next to us, and I don't know what Eric is saying, but he does not look healthy.
2nd and 1. Cedric Jones in motion. And it is a 1st down for John Stevens. The ball did pop loose, but recovered by the Patriots. Fred Young on the tackle.
Looked like Perriman got it back. Stevens, a guy who does not cough the ball up, but his running mate Perriman does recover the fumble. So now the Colts have done this week what the Bengals did last week for the Colts, allowed their opponent to stay in the game. And here New England with great field position on the plus side of the 50 once again. There you see the ball loose, and Perriman recovers. So it's a 1st down drive, stays alive.
Yes, last week Cincinnati with some long drives, but on 2 occasions in the first half had to settle for field goals. 1st down at the 34. Grogan off the pump as his man Eric Sievers. That's his 4th catch of the day. Michael Ball on the stop. It is another New England 1st down, and Eric Sievers has worked his way into the game plan.
Well, this is a kid who certainly knows how to catch the ball. Coming from San Diego, he was out there with Kellen Winslow, and they threw it on every down. You'll see him come from right there. He is. It looks like he's going all the way across, and then he comes back over the middle, tricking Jeff Harrod, 54. Grogan waits for him, and the drive stays alive.
They call him Jack Armstrong for the All-American image. Eric Sievers, 9-year man from the University of Maryland, has been a key performer. Perryman with the hole. Fred Young got a piece of Robert Perryman. 6-yard advance, 2nd down and 4 at the Indianapolis 16.
Now, New England ended the first half after a 13-play drive and got no points. They come out in the second half and they go 7 plays all the way down the field. No points on the interception by Pryor. And now once again, great field position. They're driving the ball. The secret here is don't give it up. Hang on to it and don't throw the interception.
5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Patriots trail the Colts 10-3. Stevens broke 1 tackle and then hit down for a loss by Ball.
But Chip Banks makes the play, Marv. Banks looked like he was coming on the outside blitz, and he really destroys the timing of the entire play. This remains one of the most remarkable stories of the '89 season. He had basically 2 days practice. Now watch, the first guy you'll see out here, Chip Banks, right there. And that destroys the timing of the pattern and the run. And then the rest of them are there to make the tackle.
And it is a gamble by the Colts getting back to the Banks situation. Banks has been arrested on drug-related charges 5 times over a 2-year period, pleading guilty twice. Third down, 7. Grogan able to complete for the first down and more. Connecting with Sammy Martin, who was hit down by Mike Pryor. It will be a first and goal at the 4. So Steve Grogan has just reached another milestone, going over the 25,000 career mark.
You see Martin there on the outside. He's inside Chris Good. Good timing on this pattern, because before he turns around, Grogan lets it go, and Good can't stop him. First and goal, New England.
Now Martin to the right, Dykes to the left. And the inside handoff for Tatupu is stopped.
Boy, they blew that one up. That did not work from the get-go.
Jeff Herrod was right there to stop Mosi Tatupu for a loss on the play.
Dwayne Bickett comes on a blitz from the right. See Armstrong, 79, gets in and he stops 78, Bruce Armstrong. That's Harvey Armstrong versus Bruce Armstrong, and that play was ugly. It should have lost yards.
Second and goal back at the 8.
Well, you got to think, if you're ever going to get the ball to Hartley Dykes, and he's not even in there. Big receiver, goal line situation, and he's on the sideline.
Grogan throwing, touchdown, Cedric Jones, and the Patriots move within 1. So Cedric Jones with his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. Man trying to turn it from a disappointing year last season. 6 drops in all, that by Cedric's count, and has come on after being on what can be considered the bubble during preseason. His job was in jeopardy.
But boy, did he work in the offseason. Bought a jugs gun, was catching passes all day long, and there he pays off. Boy, Patriots got to pat the butt of the Indianapolis Colts, because the Colts have given the Patriots the opportunity.
And Greg Davis able to drill it through to tie the game with 2:25 remaining in the 3rd. New England and Indianapolis even at 10.
Good pass protection for the New England Patriots. There's very little pressure here on Steve Grogan. He waits for Cedric Jones. Bickett finally gets in there. And I'm telling you, the Colts haven't done much since the first quarter.
And they had given up only 4 touchdowns the last 23 quarters prior to that touchdown reception for Dan on the return. And the Patriots continue to do an excellent job of the coverage of the speedy Clarence Burdan. A penalty has been called, looks to be against Indianapolis.
You know, Elway couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Esiason couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Pushing it back, number 59, holding 69 on the return.
Just things like that you realize the Colts just aren't with it today. Larson is one, Dixon is the other caught. Look at that. Colts in the first quarter up and down the field. Since then,
Pushing the back, number 59 on the return. First down.
So the ball is spotted back at the 12-yard line. And the Indianapolis Colts, with Jack Trudeau, who has cooled down since the early going, will start out.
and I think their problem is the remainder of this game they got to play without Eric Dickerson. He's not healthy enough to really be the Clydesdale for your offense. You got to find somewhere else to go.
Well, it is Dickerson stopped again, and you can hear the reaction from the crowd. Will we see Albert Bentley as the featured back in short time? Cleveland Browns have come from behind. Kozar to Slaughter on a 77-yard pass for the 21-17 lead.
Wow, last week he had a 97-yard reception for a touchdown.
And Marino has hit Mark Clayton on a 44-yarder. Look at Cincinnati looking to end that two-game losing streak at Riverfront. Phoenix over Dallas. Dallas headed for 0-8. Green Bay in front of Detroit. New Orleans leading Atlanta. And Trudeau is hit. And
That's a fumble.
Recovered by the Patriots.
No. I believe it's recovered by the Colts, Marv. There's a Colt down in there that has the football.
Yes, you're right.
Kevin Call.
Kevin Call sneaking in that battle.
Looked like the nose tackle, Tim Goad, 72, beat Ray Donaldson and was all over Jack Trudeau. Oh, the Colts have just gone to sleep here. See if we can see why. No, it comes from the outside. It's Vincent Brown. Goad is there to almost make the recovery, but Vincent Brown from the outside is the initial pressure on Jack Trudeau. What has happened to this offense?
And it's now Dickerson and Bentley in the backfield. It's a third down and 19 back at the 3. And off the draw, Dickerson is stopped. He just cannot accelerate.
Now, Rembert makes the tackle, and once again now, you see tempers flare. But New England's going to have great field position once again.
Kevin Call in the midst of it. Lawrence McGrew also had some words.
Now see, they catch New England in a four-man front. There's no middle linebacker. Rembert comes from the outside to make the tackle, and Dickerson just can't accelerate through there, even though his numbers are respectable. 14 carries, 60 yards. That's a 5-yard average.
On Stark deep in his end zone. Sammy Martin out at midfield. Gets the hang time. And Martin, who took some contact leading to the penalty flag thrown, gets inside the 45. Chris Good on the coverage. 44-yard punt and a 5-yard return.
He was bumped by an Indianapolis Colt, but it appeared to me that he was blocked into him. It looked like Michael Ball made the contact on Sammy Martin, but if he's blocked into him, there's no flag.
It was remarkable that he was able to follow the ball and make the catch.
Yes. This is going to be a tough call. Now, this is not reviewable by replay. Regardless of what we see, the replay can't judge. Let's see if he's blocked into him. I think there's definitely contact by Maurice Hurst. This is going to be something that the officials have to settle on the field.
Hurst, number 37, the rookie from Southern University.
The man was blocked into the man. No foul. First down.
Although looking at it again, it does look like Chris Good puts his arm out, but still, that's not reviewable by replay. So the officials on the field, I think, did a very good job of handling that call.
And now they're trying to decide where the ball should be spotted. It is New England in possession in Indianapolis territory. The game is tied at 10 with 2 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
And Marv, again now, New England, great field position. Plus side of the 50, great field position. The Colts are basically giving this game to New England.
Ron
A lack of execution.
has said that he fears New England because it is a desperation game for the Patriots with a record of 2-5. Robert Perryman pulling his way. And this third quarter comes to a close. So after 3 at the Hoosier Dome, the Colts and the Patriots are. Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. 59,356. Capacity crowd on hand at the Dome. That's Albert Bentley on the phone. Albert Bentley has been spotted, has not gotten the ball much thus far. Eric Dickerson, despite the obvious struggle he's had with the pulled hamstring, has been the featured back.
This game could not have gone worse for Indianapolis. Look at the third quarter numbers. Patriots 103 yards. The Colts 1.
2nd and 4. New England at the Indianapolis 41. Stevens going wide. Picks up the first down. Run out by Jeff Harrod, the inside linebacker who has played exceptionally well. John Stevens in his second year out of Northwestern Louisiana State.
And again, those used to seeing John Stevens run the ball for the New England Patriots, that neck collar knew. Jeff Fuller, the guy hit from San Francisco, went to the hospital, but John Stevens also suffered some neck problems from that hit last week. Look at that. A nightmare for Indianapolis in the third quarter.
After they dominated in the first half, but led by only 7. First down at the 36. 83 Jones in motion. Stevens to the 35. Picked up 1. And L. Thompson, the left defensive end, on the stop.
You see a nice lead block by Robert Perryman here, but this should be beautiful. Watch Fred Young, 56. Watch him take on Perryman. Boom. Pulls his legs right at that spot there to assist on the tackle with Donnell Thompson for little or no gain.
There is Fred Young as the Colts line it up facing the 2nd and 9. Opening minute, 4th quarter. Again, Stevens. He tried to follow David Douglas, but Michael Ball would not allow it. And a look around the 10-minute ticker. The Cleveland Browns have added to their lead on a touchdown pass off the option thrown by Eric Metcalf. 28-17 for Cleveland. Chicago in front of the Rams. The Bears have lost 3 straight going in. Buffalo 24-10, led by Frank Wright, leading Miami. Cincinnati pounding it over Tampa Bay. Phoenix on top. Kansas City now has overtaken Pittsburgh. Green Bay with the lead, and New Orleans by 3.
The guy that New England has gone to here is Sammy Martin. He's near side.
And Steve Grogan wants to talk it over. Timeout taken with a 3rd down and 8 from the 34. We'll be back after this from your local station. 56-year-old Raymond Berry out of Corpus Christi, Texas, a Hall of Fame 13-year career with the Baltimore Colts, the favorite target of Johnny Unitas, holding a host of Colts records in the receiving department.
He told us last night he wished that when Indianapolis came here, they started their own book. He said, I don't know why I'm in the Indianapolis Colts record book. He said, I played for the Baltimore Colts. Take my name out of there. Start your own history.
3rd down and 8. Patriots at the Colt 34. The game tied at 10. And the completion again to Severs, but he is held in check short of the first down. Keith Taylor, one of the heroes from last week's victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 27 making the stop.
They're bringing Greg Davis in. His longest field goal was 52 yards versus Atlanta. This will be 49 yards, so it's certainly in his range. Good coverage by the Colts. He had to go to the underneath receiver.
And this will be a 48-yard attempt. He missed earlier from 37, and he hit from 47 for a early 3-0 lead.
He's 3 for 5 from 40 to 49, Marv.
And here it is from long range, and it is good. Davis from 48 yards away. The Patriots by 3. They lead the Colts 13-10. Here it is, Davis, who hit earlier from 47, now does it from 48. Well, Greg Davis, and that is not Greg, just hit from 48 yards away to give the Patriots a 13-10 lead. Davis, an unprotected free agent, signed from Atlanta. He spent 2 years with the Falcons, and he has turned the New England kicking game around. Last year, it was a disaster. Here's Pruitt, across the 20. He broke a tackle and brought down as he crossed the 40-yard line. A 40-yard return by James Pruitt. Jim Bowman wrestled him down.
Boy, did they need that. Something to ignite the Indianapolis Colts offense, because they've been totally dominated in the second half. Now, when he breaks right, he does break this initial tackle. Looked like it was Mosi Tutupu, number 30, who tried to block him to the ground. And that's Fagans who finally makes the tackle. This is they start this time on the 44, best field position they've had all day.
And Trudeau to throw on first down. And it was dropped. Andre Rison, the intended receiver. Rison with 5 catches on the day for 116 yards. All in the first half. He had 5 receptions last week against Cincinnati, a rookie out of Michigan State. Broke a number of Michigan State receiving records held by a fellow by the name of Kirk Gibson. That is not a pretty picture for the Indianapolis Colts.
No, because last week against Cincinnati, they were outstanding in the second half. They kept the ball a lot, got it up and down the field. Bentley now in the ball game. Dickerson out, Marv.
And Bentley is the lone deep back, 2nd and 10 from the 44. Trudeau goes the other side and has a first down with Bill Brooks. Brooks has been quiet. That is only his 2nd catch.
And that's the 18th reception he's had that's resulted in a first down.
A check of the scoreboard. Everything the same here. Cleveland coming from behind. Cincinnati piling it on against Tampa Bay. Phoenix leads Dallas, and Pittsburgh in a roller coaster game has come back. They now lead. A Bubby Brister touchdown pass to Lewis Lips, 64-yard pass play. First down at the 45. Bentley, straight ahead move by Albert Bentley. James and Bowman combining to make the tackle. Dickerson to the sideline, apparently bothered by that hamstring injury. 4 weeks ago in the game against the Falcons, he strained his right hamstring, and then he pulled up lame following his touchdown last week late in the game against Cincinnati, and pulled another part of the hamstring. 2nd and 8 at the 43. So Bentley has taken over for Dickerson. Trudeau, sideline pass. Oh, beautiful catch.
Nice pattern, too.
Andre Rison able to hold on inbounds for the first down.
For a rookie, and coming out of Michigan State, where you don't have a real sophisticated passing game, this kid does some extraordinary things. Now watch, you see Claiborne is deep. Now watch him come back for the football. He plants, comes right straight back. And if he doesn't, 37 Hurst is there to make the interception. Oh, that's pretty. Coaches love to see that in young receivers and old receivers as he continues this career day.
And he is split to the left. First down at the New England 30. Indianapolis trailing 13-10.
Bentley
on the swing. And Bentley, refusing to go down, gets to the 25. Roland James, the quiet man of the New England secondary, although a steady player over the years, made the stop.
Bentley slow getting up. He sprained his foot last week. And the Indianapolis Colts only have 3 running backs. Dickerson is on the sideline. Bentley sprains his foot, and now Ivy Joe Hunter comes in.
Ivy Joe Hunter is a rookie from Kentucky, a 7th-round draft pick, and he is the lone deep back for the 2nd down and 5. And here is Hunter, a very nice NFL debut.
How about that?
Jim Bowman on the tackle as Ivy Joe Hunter has picked up the 1st down.
They do a good job up front. 69 Dixon, 75 Hinton, spreading the defense. You see Jeter, 99, jumps inside the block of Dixon. Nice little hold there for Ivy Joe Hunter. He hangs onto the football and picks up the 1st down.
The book on Ivy Joe, a hard driving runner, not a good receiver, been on the green side. They say he still needs work, and they have been reluctant to go with him. Of course, with Bentley and Dickerson, you're not going to get many opportunities. But there goes Hunter inside the 10.
Well, coming out of the University of Kentucky, he's certainly used to wearing these colors, isn't he? He goes from Wildcat blue to Colts blue. Actually, he did nothing on that run but hang on to the football. This is a great job by the offensive line. It'll go to the left. Look at there. Excellent job. He runs through Rembert. Rembert doesn't really try very hard. Marion finally gets him to the ground, and it's another 1st down pickup for the Colts and Ivy Joe Hunter.
A 1st and goal at the 8. Ivy Joe Hunter out of Gainesville, Florida. Replacing Albert Bentley, who went off limping. Bentley had come on for Eric Dickerson.
Hey, I'd give it to him again. Same formation, give it to him again.
Rison is to the left. Brooks right. Poyer in motion, and it is Hunter getting the call. A short pickup. 8:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. Patriots with a 13-10 lead on the Colts, but Indianapolis on the move.
This drive started at their own 44 after the good kickoff return by James Pruitt, and they got the spark they needed. Bentley now back in the ball game. And a rousing applause for Ivy Joe Hunter's first 3 carries in the NFL.
3 carries, 20 yards for the rookie from Kentucky. And a timeout called by Trudeau. And we will go to commercial. When we resume, it'll be a 2nd and goal at the 7. So next week, most of you will see the Colts and the Dolphins. Others will see the Patriots hosting the Jets. And the 2nd half of the NBC doubleheader, Bob and I will be in Denver for Pittsburgh and Denver. Some of you will see Cincinnati and the LA Raiders. 2nd and goal at the 7. The Colts on the march. They're trailing the Patriots 13-10. Trudell throwing end zone.
Touchdown.
Touchdown is indicated. The tight end, Mark Boyer, did get in and then was pushed out.
His first touchdown of the season. Well, the fans here in Indianapolis did not like the fact that Jack Trudeau called a timeout. He didn't like the defense he saw. He goes to the sideline. The combination of Larry Keenan, the offensive coordinator, and Ron Meyer come up with a scoring play.
So the Colts take a 16-13 lead, and Dean Biasucci will attempt the extra point. The holder is Ron Stark. It's right there with 7:48 remaining. In the 4th, the Colts have overtaken the Patriots 17-13. And Jack Trudeau is now 13 for 25, 227 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, this is an interesting formation that the Colts run. This is Beach. This is Boyer. He just goes down and turns around, and it looks like New England just forgets about it because Trudeau is locked into him all the way. He just gets kind of lost in the shuffle. Just as he turns around, Trudeau throws it. That ball breaks the plane of the end zone. Touchdown, Colts.
And for Boyer, his first touchdown of the season, only his third catch. The Colts do not look for their tight ends. The other tight end, Pat Beach, with only 4 receptions. Boyer now with 3. John Brandis, listed as a tight end, has not caught a ball. They don't look for him.
Yeah, for those in New England wondering about was that or was that not a touchdown, the ball has to break the plane of the end zone. His feet don't have to come down in the end zone, nor does his body. But if the ball breaks the plane of the end zone, touchdown.
Mark Boyer in his 5th season in the NFL out of the University of Southern California. And there's Ivy Joe Hunter, who sparked this club, and coming on for Albert Bentley. 3 carries, 20 yards. Very significant on that Indianapolis drive.
Also give some credit to the big kickoff return by James Pruitt. Gave him great field position. So there are a lot of pluses on that particular series by Indianapolis, Marv.
Iasucci will kick it to Rice and Martin. And that was the 18th touchdown pass that the Patriots have allowed in 8 games. A deep kick, and Rice running it out. And running well. Spinning across the 30. A pretty return by the rookie from Brigham Young, Rodney Rice, with 7:36 to go. In this 4th quarter, the Patriots back to the offense, trailing 17-13.
Colts have 57 yards in the second half. You can see where they got 56. That's what you call a key drive by the Indianapolis Colts. Got the answer.
First down at the 33 for Grogan. He goes short range for Perryman. Gets to the 39-yard line. Jeff Herrod, who's piling up the tackles, getting credit. A look around the scoreboard. Chicago now 17-3 over the LA Rams. Cincinnati on another touchdown pass by Boomer Esiason. Make it 4 on the day. Make it 5 on the day for Boomer. And a bounce back from last week against the Colts. 2nd and 3 from the 40. Perryman under the hole and pulling for the first down across the 45. And again, it's Herrod with the tackle.
Well, he ran right over Michael Bull, the strong safety. I mean, just thumped him to the ground. Patriots have done an excellent job of spreading it out between Perryman and Stevens. And if you'll watch the end of this play, when Perryman goes through the line of scrimmage, Michael Bull tries to make the tackle. And you see him on the left. Ooh, runs right over him. Herrod on the assist. First down, Patriots.
9 carries, 42 yards for Perryman. Grogan looking left, swings it. Picked up perhaps a yard and just barely managed to hold on as Herrod was all over him.
This kid has been all over everybody all day long. Look at the red you can see on his helmet from the contact from that Patriots stripe on the back of his helmet. This young man replaced Cliff Odom, a very, very tough hitter, but he had such a good preseason they couldn't keep him out of the lineup.
And he is the leading tackler on the Colts. 15 tackles 2 weeks ago against Denver. 2nd down and about 8. Dykes. Oh, what a catch by Hartley Dykes. Chris Good on the tackle. That's the first reception for the rookie out of Oklahoma State, who is known to be an acrobatic possession receiver. And that was certainly acrobatic.
Well, that's the slant pass. There's lots of traffic there. Dykes, good concentration on the football. 37, Good, the man in coverage, and Grogan puts it right on the numbers, right between the 8 and the 8.
So his seasonal total shows, actually with that catch, make it 8 on the year for Dykes, who picked up the first down at the 41. quickly. Dwayne Pickett on the stop.
This Pickett kid he's extraordinary. He turned that play back in. If you're a defensive coach and you're out there watching this game, that's exactly what you want your linebackers to do. Turn it back into the pursuit. The flip is to Stevens, to Tupu leads. There's Pickett. You're not coming out here. And there's Harrod and Pickett to assist on the tackle for no gain.
Second.
Picture perfect outside linebacker play.
2nd and 10 at the 41. Clock running down to 4 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Grogan for Jones. Cedric Jones running well, has a first down inside the 30, and Grogan has hit on 9 consecutive completions. Chris Good on the stop of Jones.
It's kind of a crowd at the spot where the pattern takes place. Now it'll take place to your right, but you can see the tight end going up the field. And you'll see Harrod and Good 37 kind of lost Cedric Jones there. And Grogan, who has always had a great perception of the field, sees open receivers, gets it to Jones for the first down pickup.
A first down at the 29. Grogan now 18 for 32, 231 in terms of yardage with the time, and another completion. Eric Sievers in the middle of the pack. Mike Pryor, the free safety, on the stop. That's good for 18 yards. And for Sievers, his 5th catch of the day.
Well, Grogan finds his favorite receiver on this particular day. And it looks like the defense is laying off Sievers, paying attention to Cedric Jones, also to Stanley Morgan, and Sievers has been the big receiver.
New England, first down at the Indianapolis 11. The Colts 17, and the Patriots 13. 2.5 to go in the fourth. Grogan over the middle. He has to Tupu. Harrod making the stop, but a penalty marker thrown.
Personal foul, defense. We got 51 Chip Banks, far side of the field on the blitz. You see Pickett this side, and Banks doesn't stop. And you see Dick Jorgensen throw the flag. In earnest, he throws the flag.
Personal foul, number 51, roughing the passer, first down and goal.
Let me correct myself. I recognize that voice. It's Pat Hackert.
And it sets a first and goal for New England with 2:25 remaining in the fourth quarter. Steve Grogan has completed 9 in a row.
Well, Indianapolis allowed the Patriots to be in this spot. They just, that lack of yardage in the third quarter, just 1 yard. They got 57 in the second half. Grogan, once he went to the underneath stuff, about the second quarter on, has had a very, very good day.
The ball is just outside the 1. To Tupu, lined up in front of Stevens. Jones in motion. And the Patriots are in for the score. John Stevens, following Mosi Tatupu, has given the Patriots the lead.
Now, you heard the crowd try to disrupt the New England Patriots. Every day that they practice in Foxborough Stadium, they have that big sound system on. Most times, the sound by the opposing crowd does not affect the New England Patriots, and here everyone is off on the snap count. There is a good push by the offensive line, and Stevens, frankly, is in there pretty easily.
Third touchdown of the season for John Stevens. He took it in from the 1. And now the attempt for the extra point. Greg Davis able to put it through. The 4th lead change of the day. And New England in a seesaw battle, taking a 20-17 lead with 2:22 left in this fourth quarter. And Steve Grogan, man who made his first start since September of last season. That was last week against San Francisco. In the lineup once again today, and has done the job. He had 1 down period and has come back very strong with 9 straight completions.
Excellent push there. Stevens in easily. Grogan completed his last 9 in a row, 6 of 6 in that drive, 19 of 33 on the day, 250 yards.
In the Cleveland-Houston game, Bernie Kosar ran one in, succeeded on a flea flicker on an 80-yard pass play, threw another, and Bud Carson pulling out all the stops. Eric Metcalf on the halfback option throwing a touchdown to Reggie Langhorne. Bears now 17-10 over the Rams. Buffalo opening up 31-10. Cincinnati and a walkaway against Tampa Bay. Phoenix leads Dallas. Pittsburgh back in front of Kansas City. Detroit and Green Bay now even at 20. And the kickoff return by Pruitt. James Pruitt with another beautiful run. Forced out by Howard Fagan. A 48-yard return by Pruitt.
You can't ask for anything better out of your kickoff return than to give your offense good field position. Pruitt with great foot speed. Fagans pushes him out just across the 50, just their side of the 50-yard line. Well, I'll tell you what, they got a monster kicker here in Dean Biasucci, too. So they don't need much yardage for the game-tying field goal.
Well, Pruitt, a 40-yard return on the previous kickoff, and now 48. So first down from midfield for Indianapolis with 2:12 left in the fourth. Trudeau with the sideline pattern for the tight end, Pat Beach. But it is a short pickup. Lawrence McGrew on the coverage of Beach. It is a 2017 New England lead over Indianapolis. 2:05 remaining in this fourth quarter. Yes, Dean Biasucci has been a long-range specialist. Last year, he hit the 6 from 50 yards or more, 6 field goals from 50 or more, an NFL record. Earlier this season, he hit a 55-yard field goal, second down and 5. Trudeau was in trouble. He had to swing it, and a good play as Bentley collected the first down.
That was nice. Bentley, and looking back for the football, Marv, could see Hurst, 37, coming out there to make the contact. Still catches it.
A minute 59 remaining in the fourth quarter. We'll be back in a moment. Back at the Hoosier Dome, a 2017 lead for the New England Patriots. When we resume, it'll be a first down from the 39 in New England territory for Indianapolis. And if Dean Biasucci would attempt a field goal from here, which would tie the game, he'd have to go about 56 yards. So he is moving well within Biasucci range.
They need about 10. And if you're going to pick a second half MVP if the Colts win this game, it's got to be James Pruitt. Those 2 big kickoff returns have given the Indianapolis Colts a little fire in their blood and also great field position. So we could be looking at overtime here.
And Ivy Joe Hunter providing a lift coming off the bench, replacing Albert Bentley, who is back in there. And Steve Grogan, from the New England point of view, has done the job. He had some rough times, particularly in the second quarter, early part of the third, but has come on strong. 19 for 33, 250 yards overall.
These 2 teams have played an awful lot of very, very close, tight football games. It always seems to bounce strange when these 2 meet each other.
Well, last season they split. Patriots winning in New England by 4. Colts won here by 3 on a field goal by Biasucci, and Jason Starofsky missed a 27-yard attempt in the final seconds. Bentley. So Albert Bentley stopped by Gary Jeter. Picked up 4, second down and 6 at the 35. Clock is running. The Colts in the hurry-up. Trudeau looking deep, finds the opening, and slashes for the first down, and then calls the timeout. Minute and a half remaining in the fourth quarter. The timeout taken. We'll be right back. Reserve. Colts with 1 timeout remaining. Patriots have 2. First down for Indianapolis at the New England 26. A minute and a half left in the this fourth quarter.
Bentley right in the middle. Oh, he missed it.
And Trudeau goes incomplete. The intended receiver, Clarence Verdun, Fred Marion, the free safety on the coverage.
Marv Albert Bentley was right down the middle, wide open. No one within 5 yards of him. Watch, you'll see the whole thing. Bentley comes from the backfield. Look at him. He's standing there wide open. Jack doesn't see him, throws to the outside. Oh.
It is a 2nd and 10 at the 26-yard line. Ron Meyer, one-time head coach of the New England Patriots, facing a very important stretch here with that Colt record at 4 up and 3 down. They're down by 3 to the Patriots. Trudeau from the shotgun.
Same play.
And he slides short of the first down at the 21. Clock is running.
They ran the same play, and that time Rembert had Bentley covered. But he is getting linebacker coverage. You could run Bentley deeper, and I think he'd be open.
It is a 3rd and 6. Colts are certainly in field goal range for Biasucci, but they're looking for the 6 points. Oh, Bentley drops it. Oh, a costly play.
Was ready to turn upfield too quickly. Wide open, and he knows it. That would have been a first down, too. So Biasucci on to tie.
Took his eye off the ball. He was thinking of the run as he made the spin. And now, Dean Biasucci, who hit earlier from 32 yards away, is 11 for 14 on the season, will attempt from 39 yards out. Now, last week, the Patriots blocked 2 Mike Kofer field goal attempts. They stopped San Francisco twice. Let's see what happens here. He gets it away. And it is good. The game is tied at 20 with 51 seconds remaining in the 4th. So Dean Biasucci makes it 2 for 2 on the day from 32 and now from 39.
Colts fans are getting their money's worth today, but some of them are heading for the exits here. What's going on? They had to lock the doors from the inside.
Concession refill.
55 seconds to go. You can't be heading for the parking lot. Look at the concentration on Biasucci. Excellent fundamentals. Stark is the holder, the punter. Ray Donaldson is the snapper.
And remember, they had a problem last week. They had that botched hold against Cincinnati. Stark said it was his fault, but it was a high fastball from the kick snapper, Ray Donaldson.
Well, that one was executed beautifully. This one is drilled. That's way up those uprights. That's an easy field goal for Dean Biasucci.
He is superb. The NFL's most consistent place kicker the last couple of years. And Greg Davis, who has done a good job. He's hit from 47. He missed from 37. That ended his streak, but he's 9 for his last 10. Greg Davis in his 3rd year from the Citadel.
He's the one whose mother taught him how to kick.
Right.
She's the physics teacher. They discussed the aerodynamics of the football.
That began when he was 8 years old. And the kickoff by Biasucci to Sammy Martin. Crossed the 15, putting the speed on, and took the hit at the 25. Down to 45 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter.
You know, I think if I'm New England, I'm going to concede the rest of this game. Just kind of sit on the football, because with Biasucci's leg, any interception 15 yards down the field from this spot, you're giving Indianapolis a real chance.
Patriots start out from their 25. And this capacity crowd urging the Colt defensive unit on. Grogan going short range. Cedric Jones run out by the left corner, Chris Good.
Well, they're going to try to nickel and dime it down the field in the last 2 minutes now, certainly in the last 40 seconds. The Colts are going to be playing very, very deep. They'll give you the short stuff. Just keep as many people as they can between you and the goal line. And of course, Raymond Berry is fully aware of that. I would imagine Steve Grogan is on his own in this last 40 seconds. Call your own plays.
He has a 2nd and 2 from the 33. Over the middle, and a nice catch. Again, Jones. Patriots to the hurry-up, picked up the first down, and now a timeout has been called. The clock stopped with 28 seconds remaining in regulation.
Grogan hot in this second half. He's hit 13 in a row, his last 13 in a row. Richard Wood, the guy who was the quarterback of the New York Jets before one Joe Namath.
Actually,
Titans. So that was about the time that Mike Tolliver was there from the University of Illinois, and then Namath came on and made everybody else a no-name.
Namath and John Hewitt out of Notre Dame coming on at the same time. Richard Wood got around both the AFL and the NFL as a backup quarterback for the most part. 28 seconds remaining, fourth quarter. First down, 43. Sideline pattern could not be handled by Cedric Jones. Steve Grogan also changing the philosophy as this game has progressed. In the first quarter, he was looking for the deep pattern. Stanley Morgan caught a 50-yarder early, and since then has not caught a pass.
Sievers has been the big receiver for the Patriots today. He's been the most consistent receiver, and Stanley Morgan is on the sideline. There's Harold Jackson, his coach, and one of the greatest players in the history of the NFL, standing next to him.
Down to 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Game tied at 20. And Grogan going in the middle. The catch is made. Sammy Martin on the reception. The clock now is stopped.
Well, that hurts. They took a chance on the reception down the middle, but now they can't stop the clock for the field goal. If they make a completion, and they probably need 10 to 15 yards, they've got to somehow get the field goal team. What did he just say? Oh, put 3 seconds back on the clock.
Yeah, it continued to run as the timeout was indicated, so they changed it from 13 to 16, and the crowd booing the extra time added.
But the Patriots are in trouble here now. They've taken their last timeout.
Timeout, New England.
They've taken their last timeout, so this completion has to be to the sideline so they can stop the clock. It also has to be about 12 yards deep. So the Colts know that too, because the Patriots are out of timeouts. They put themselves in a tough spot here.
Well, in trouble in terms of pulling it out, but still, they have the football. The game is tied at 20. They have it at the Indianapolis 46-yard line. Greg Davis has connected from 47 and from 48. And he will have to hearken back to the philosophies, as you mentioned, taught by his mom many years ago.
He's made a 52-yarder. So from where it sits now, they need about 13 or 14 yards for him to have a legitimate shot.
Checking the aerodynamics right here. And Grogan looks it over, and
it's there.
Goes to Morgan. And let's see, it is ruled out of bounds.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Incomplete.
It looked to me like Taylor may have pushed him out of bounds. It looked like Morgan, when he came down, would have come down without the contact from Taylor.
Although no argument from Morgan.
Replay can review this. Well thrown. That's a catch.
Yes.
That's a catch.
And I'm surprised.
Wait a minute. Run that back. Let me see if he had control of the football.
I'm surprised that he did not argue the call.
Does he have the ball?
Well, they're up to the line meanwhile, and the play will stand. Final seconds, and it's incomplete. So we're down to 7 seconds. About a third down play. I'm really amazed he did not argue the call.
Except he may have felt that he didn't have control of the football, and his feet were in. There's no question about that. Here's another look from a different angle.
Still, guys argue if it's close.
Yeah, well, that does look like it bounced out before they had control, but the New England Patriot coaches, which are in the booth to our right,
they were
screaming for a replay. But it did appear he did not have control. Well, your only chance now is running out and up, throw it in the end zone.
It's a third down play, 7 seconds to go. Well, they go short range.
Oh!
Dykes runs it out with 3 seconds remaining.
Oh! The ball is at the 29, a 46-yard field goal attempt by Greg Davis. What a throw by Grogan.
And an excellent call as Hartley Dykes went sideline pattern, was able to do it within 4 seconds.
This is a 3-step drop. Look at that. He's outside Eugene Daniel, 38. Here it comes.
Greg Davis going for the victory from 46 yards away. He's hit 2 from long range. And here it is. It is.
No.
Good. So we go to overtime. Patriots did well to set it up for Davis. Although a long-range kick, earlier he hit from 47 and from 48. And Steve Grogan reacting to that kick that shied off to the right side.
He was heading for the locker room.
Yeah.
He was running right for the locker room. So now there's a short break. They'll flip the coin. Look at those numbers. For a second start in 2 years, not bad for the old man. Do you realize that Jack Trudeau was an 8th grader in California when Steve Grogan completed his first NFL pass?
That's tails.
Okay.
Heads.
Okay.
You call it in the air.
Okay.
No.
Is it that hard to see?
Ready?
Tails.
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 Tails it is.
I wanted to know. You want the ball?
Ray Claiborne makes the
Doing
call.
on the toss and will receive.
It is on to overtime here at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The minute this ball was kicked, Greg Davis knew that he'd missed it. And generally when a kick is missed, they're the loneliest man out on the field. But to his assistance comes the punter, Fiegels, for a little consoling, and then the rest of his teammates join him too.
And we're underway in overtime as Biasucci kicks it to Sammy Martin to the 20. Change of direction. Penalty marker down. Martin gets to the 29. But a flag tossed. Orlando Lowry made the stop of Sammy Martin.
Holding on the offense.
You don't want to start the overtime period with bad field position. That's exactly what the Patriots have to do.
No indication of a number as they walk it back.
As an offense and a defense, a lot of dilemmas in overtime. As an offense, do you take the same offensive approach, throw the underneath patterns? If you're a defense, do you blitz? Do you take a chance of allowing the offense to big play?
Particularly against a club like the Colts, with Biasucci so dangerous from every angle. First down from the 12, tied at 20. Just the start of things in overtime. And Robert Perryman picks up 2, stopped by Fidel Thompson.
The two teams have produced over 700 yards of offense and 40 points going into overtime.
And And the Colts have been a schizophrenic team. They looked superb last week in Cincinnati and against Buffalo 2 weeks ago, beating the Bills big, but came up empty in that 14-3 loss in Denver several weeks back. And they've had their ups and downs here today against a 2-5 New England Patriot club, so they have been totally unpredictable. As have the Patriots, who fared decently against San Francisco last week, although they lost, and have hung in here. Stevens going wide, could not make the turn. Pickett and Daniel played him well.
You can see the Patriots approach, Marv, very, very conservative. 2 runs, and now 3rd down and 5. They go with the throw. Severs comes in. Stanley Morgan comes in. Raymond Berry, he's asking for runner pass. Richard Wood balls it on the pass. Bobby Greer on the run. Whoa, that's a statistic that nobody in Boston wants to see.
3rd down play. And Grogan took a hit, but completed to Severs for the 1st down. Eric Severs came into today's game with 16 receptions, but today he has emerged as a primary receiver. 6 catches, 102 yards.
And when Fryer got hurt, they needed to find a receiver somewhere. Severs turns out to be the guy. Well, he's made some huge catches, and Steve Grogan paid the price on this particular play. Good pass rush by the Colts, but not there quick enough. Looks like it's Harvey Armstrong. It's Sam Clancy, 76, who nails him.
1st down at the 28. Grogan couldn't find anyone. And hit down at the 30. Advance of 2. Danelle Thompson on the stop of Steve Grogan.
There's the brain trust again. Tony Eason moves away to make the signals. The hand signals going on behind Richard Wood.
And that is Wood with the sheet of paper.
He's looking across at Tom Ramsey. Did you get that one, Tom? Ramsey's the guy who invented all these hand signals.
One time, New England Patriot. 2nd down 8. From the 30.
I think this is a run.
Are you picking up signals now as Stevens has stopped?
Well, once again, there's always that tendency to see who talks. And it looked like Bobby Greer was talking to, let's see if we can pick it up again. Harold Jackson motioning. Richard Wood. This is a pass. This is a pass. He's asking him again. What'd you say? And Tony's hiding way back there. Well, you'd think they'd dress him in zebra stripes or leopard skin or hot pink or something so that he's easily picked out.
3rd down and 5, and the Patriots have not done well in the 3rd down conversion department. Only 2 of 11, and Grogan will throw.
Ooh! Almost a catch.
So Hartley Dykes could not come up with it. A good effort, and New England is forced to punt.
Well, Clarence Verdant, he almost makes this catch. This ball just thrown out of his reach. Clarence Verdant has not had a big day today for the Indianapolis Colts. He's had a punt return for a touchdown, and they had one in the Jets game, but he's not caught many passes, and this is his opportunity to have a big effect on the outcome of this game.
Punt by Fiegels, and a good one. Excellent hang time. Verdant behind his 20. And again, the Patriots getting downfield in a hurry, and Verdant is stifled. Running out to the 27, Vincent Brown right there. 49-yard punt. Only an 8-yard return by Verdant.
He's disappointed. He wanted to pop one there. 2 big kickoff returns by the Indianapolis Colts have certainly helped them, both by James Pruitt. Verdant wanted to do his job, but this is excellent coverage, and Vincent Brown 59 and Fagans 27 get him to the ground.
We are in overtime. 11:27 remaining. The Colts and the Patriots tied at 20. Rison is to the right side. Verdun to the left. And Trudeau incomplete. Only Risen in the area. He was further downfield. Bentley was short range.
Wow, there was a defensive lineman for New England not touched. It looked like Gary Jeter was all over Jack Trudeau and nobody touched him. Well, I take it back. He got inside the center, Donaldson, and 69 Dixon to really put pressure on Jack Trudeau. Trudeau did not want to throw it that early.
Trudeau now 15 for 30, 237 yards. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns. 2nd and 10 at the Indianapolis 28. On the draw, it is Bentley. And he broke it outside, refusing to go down. Brett Marion could not get him down, and Bentley has the first down.
Nice sprint draw. The quarterback sprints back to the running back and gives him the ball. You try to stretch the defense. This is well done. You see Trudeau, he runs back there. Excellent blocking up front. That's Hinton 75 on McGrew. And then he fights for the yards to get the first down. Drive stays alive.
Albert Bentley only goes 5'11", about 210, and very strong, as you just saw. First down at the 40.
Screen.
And it works. Bentley again for the first down.
Falls over his own man. Dixon. If Dixon gets out of the way, Bentley's got a chance to make a couple of moves. Now watch the left guard. This is well set up. It's a quick screen to Bentley. But Dixon, in getting the block on Rembert, gets in Bentley's way and knocks him down.
Albert Bentley coming on for Eric Dickerson, who, hampered by that pulled hamstring, was having his difficulties. These are all final scores. Cincinnati 56-23 over Tampa Bay. We are in overtime with 10.5 remaining. From midfield. Intended for Andre Rison. It will be a 2nd and 10 from the 50. And Green Bay knocks off Detroit in overtime. New Orleans beating Atlanta 2013. The later games, San Francisco off to a 7-0 start over the Jets at Giant Stadium.
You want to predict the final score of that one? Jets and 49ers.
Whoa! Philadelphia in front of Denver. Raiders leading Washington. 2nd and 10. A draw again. And Bentley to the 45. He went for 5. Jim Bowman stopped him. Sets a 3rd down and 5 at the New England 45.
If you just tuned in and wondering where Eric Dickerson is, at the 3rd quarter pulled himself out of the game because of that hamstring pull. He just couldn't contribute anything to the offense, so the Colts have put Bentley back there in the single back offense, and frankly they functioned very well.
And Ivy Joe Hunter came on and did a nice job in a short stint. Dickerson hasn't had any monster games in the past against the Patriots. He's had 3 100-yard-plus games, but those were all losses for his team. Trudeau getting the time, could not find anybody, and then goes incomplete. The pass intended for Clarence Verdun. So it is a 4th and 5 at the 45.
49 and 17. Stark comes on. There's no chance for this one. Good pass protection, but he just couldn't find anybody open. He's looking for Bentley, number 20. Finally throws it to Verdun. And he sees the incompletion from his keister.
And this one, even for Dean Biasucci, who has terrific range, is out of his range.
Bentley's the up back, though. Never can't tell what might happen here.
Stark back at his 40. It. Martin with the fair catch at the 12. 9:32 remaining in overtime. A 34-yard punt by Ron Stark, and the the Patriots take over. A look ahead to next week. It'll get underway with NFL Live at 12:30 with Bob and OJ. Most of you will see the Colts and Miami. Some of you will see the Jets go up against New England. And in the second half of our NBC doubleheader, you'll see either the Bengals, who came up big today against the Raiders, or Pittsburgh and Denver. It is a first down for New England from their 12. Marv Albert with Bob Trumpy from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Aim is tied at 20. And Grogan is hit for the loss. John Hand with the sack, but a flag has been thrown. It is against New England.
Third sack of the day by the Colts. I think you take the sack because it also eats up the down.
Colts come in as the number 4 team in sacks in the league.
Holding, offense number 73, declined. Second down.
The hold on the left tackle, Danny Villa, a 3-year veteran out of Arizona State.
It didn't help because John Hand got the sack. He held him, tackled him, and Hand still gets there. They decline the penalty, so it's second down and 20. Make it 18.
And the ball at the 4. Grogan gets it out to Perryman. Stopped at the 7 by Pickett. 9:04 remaining in overtime. It'll be a 3rd and 14 at the 8.
Boy, do they need a big play here.
Ron Meyer and his Colts with a record of 4-3. They've won 4 of the last 5 after opening at 0-2. But those first 2 games against the Rams and the 49ers, the Colts' overall schedule is rated as the toughest in the NFL based on last year's records. The crowd rising. 3rd and 14 as Grogan throws side.
Oh, he caught it. Sammy Martin caught it.
Oh, what a catch by Sammy Martin.
It'll be reviewed. It's right in front of Ron Meyer. Oh, what a highlight.
A magnificent reception by Sammy Martin. If it holds, it's a 27-yard pass play and his 4th catch of the day.
Grogan gets absolutely hammered. Oh, boy. This is going to be very, very close. Now, there is a diamond vision screen here in the Hoosier Dome, and the fans are trying to be officials here. The question is, does he have possession of it before his knee touches the out-of-bounds marker?
It has been a very busy day for the replay official, Grover Clemmer. He had 4 plays to review in the first half. He's had several here. Sammy Martin took a hard hit, was shaken up, and is all right.
This may be very, very close, but on that second review, I think it's going to be ruled an incompletion. It looks like his left knee. There's Grover. Behind those monitors.
If it holds, it will be a first down for New England from their 36.
Watch his left knee. In or out? Well, I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn that, so I think the reception is going to stand. And the umpire is saying nothing, so the reception stands.
Right, Patriots to the line. Grogan is now 27 for 45, 347 yards. And he's able to pump it to Cedric Jones, and we get the word from the replay booth that the replay was inconclusive.
Yeah, to remind you, you must have, this is an interesting word, irrefutable evidence to overturn the call on the field.
It's a word that covers a lot of ground.
Obviously written by a lawyer somewhere. Not something that you and I bring up in our normal everyday language.
Well, I just at breakfast the other day with my kids. It is a second down and 2 at the 44. time remaining in overtime. Game tied at 20. Perryman to the 46, close to the first down. Met by the front line of Thompson, Armstrong, and Hand.
Well, you know, I was just thinking, I think that pass by Steve Grogan puts him very close to 400 yards passing for the day. I mean, he's getting up there. Grogan it's 353 yards passing, 46 attempts. That's on an old arm. He may have ice on that thing all week.
It's a 36-year-old arm. Steve Grogan coming off surgery, removing a herniated disc in his neck, which was pinching a nerve to the right arm. Many thought Grogan would retire after last season. First down at the 47. Stevens trying to go wide. So the Patriots did pick up the first down, and Stevens was run out by the strong safety Michael Ball.
That's Stevens, kids. When he turns upfield, he hurts people. Here's Grogan on the handoff, and then also tries to get a block on Chip Banks. Now watch when Stevens turns upfield, lowers that shoulder, cocks that arm, and delivers a shot.
And he went for 8. 2nd and 2 at the Indianapolis 45. 6:48 left in overtime. Now Stanley Morgan to the left. Cedric Jones to the right. Robert Perryman trying the left side, and he has another first down. Harvey Armstrong, the nose tackle on the stop.
This is amazing. This New England Patriot offense, which has had trouble moving the ball up and down the field throughout the season, since they've gotten Grogan at quarterback over the last 2 weeks, including this one, they have moved the ball. No complaints whatsoever. Over 400 yards passing.
And Grogan getting help with the running game. Stevens 65 yards. Still not the form of his rookie season, but Perryman has contributed 46. First down at the 42. And on the fake. It is Grogan. Well, he would have liked more. A pickup of about 5.
That was a busted play. Steve Grogan did not want to be running out there with that neck brace on, and 36 years old, in overtime in the Hoosier Dome. It looks like Perryman does not get what's going on because I take it back. That was intentional. That was absolutely intentional. Boy, Grogs has got some guts there.
9th play of the drive. Patriots started back at their 12. So it was a fake for Grogan. Dykes now to the left. Jones to the right. From the Colt 38. Stevens.
Look at him.
Directing traffic.
He's motioning the guy. Come on, come on. Remember the way Ali used to do it in the corner? Come on, come on. Stevens said, come on in here. Hit me.
And John Stevens bumped out just shy of the first down. These are the 4 o'clock games. Seattle leading San Diego. San Francisco with that 7-0 lead on the Jets in the second quarter. Philadelphia to the early lead on 6-1 Denver. Raiders 14 and Washington 7. It is 3rd and less than a yard as the Patriots look to get into field goal territory for Greg Davis, who is 2 out of 4. He's hit from 47 and from 48. 5:14 left in the overtime, and off the fumble.
Who has it?
Let's see as they unravel.
They were just going to run a quarterback sneak. New England keeps the ball, but Grogan never got it. Almost a flaming disaster.
While the Patriots able to recover.
Oh, isn't that something? 3rd and short. Now they've got to bring Davis on for a 51-yard field goal attempt.
On the season, 13 for 17. He hit earlier from 47 and from 48.
He's made a 52-yarder.
Mark Wilson will hold, and looks like a timeout has been called for. Yes. And Wilson walking over to the sidelines to chat with Raymond Berry. We'll be right back. Attempt. Here it is. Davis ties the Colts in overtime to do it by the score of 23-20. So the Indianapolis Colts go to 4-4 and the Patriots to 3-5 as they have come up with the upset victory, knocking off the Colts here at the Hoosier Dome in overtime on a 51-yard field goal by Greg Davis, a game that saw the lead change on 5 occasions. Our Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and there he is, New England quarterback Steve Grogan. And Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. Grogan 28 for 46, 353 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. At one point he hit 13 in a row as he turned things around. So Steve Grogan, in his second start this season, has engineered a 23-20 victory over the Indianapolis Colts. Thanks to our producer, Ken Edmondson, director Andy Rosenberg, our statistician, Mr. Stats, Elliot Cow, Marv Albert, with Bob Trumpy saying so long from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Overtime victory for the Patriots by the score of 23-20. Thanks for tuning in. So long, everybody.